What's going on, Conscious Crew? It's your favorite breakdown commentator. Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. You already know what we're here to get into, honey. This is a totally improvisational live stream. This was thought of in the moment because me and my goddamn vampire, are up. Because, we allergic to sunlight, child. We are vitamin D deficient over her. But before we get into it, go ahead and run those likes up until they're absolutely stuck. You guys know that thumbing up the video not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another Conscious Crew member and telling them to get their black asses up. And they definitely need to get up, girl, because it's 3:05 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I know most of y'all in the bed trying to wake up for morning so y'all can wash the filthy sin of Saturday night off first thing this Sunday morning. Okay. But get your ass up anyway. And when you catch the replay, thumbs up, because I need all of that. Y'all got me out here working like a damn Hebrew slave, baby. I ain't slept in 104 damn hours because of y'all, baby. So y'all better be appreciating and loving on the king accordingly. Also, make sure that you guys subscribe if you are new here. Have your notification bell set to all so that you never miss a day or hour when the king is in fact king. And last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community, your YouTube community wall, your Instagram, your Snapchat, your MySpace, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you in fact like. Just let them whores know that we're live, and we are certainly in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, let me shout out to the Conscious Crew in the building before we get started. What's going on, Bubs? The God. I modded you up too, Bubs, okay? So you got a ranch. What's going on, my sin? Grand Rising off the Narc. Grand Rising, Danny, Spiritual Read. Hey, boo. What's going on, Miss Fox? Or is that Mr. Fox? Is it 5'8"? Is it 5'8" Fox? What the hell am I reading? What's going on, the Empress? Hey, boo. I'm glad I haven't taken off my lady off the night. Oh, on period. Kill police. Okay, 504. Oh, okay, 504. Nice. Is it, is 504 the area code as well for Kentucky? I think 504 is also Kentucky's. I got a twin flame who is binded and banished to the 504 child. What's going on, Ron? Hey, Medusa. Hey, my baby mother Ken Guardas. Hey, Bo. What's going on, y'all? Hey, Rachel. Hey, Sunny. What's going on? Dangani. Hey, Bo. What's going on, y'all? So I got a special guest with me, you guys. Of course, no other than the Bubs himself. Hey, Bubs.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on, Conscious Crew?
Okay, first of all, can we change this avatar?
You don't like this avatar?
It's not that I don't like it, but I'm gonna tell you something in the back chat, but don't read it out loud.
Girl, what you done said to me?
Hold on. But don't read it out loud.
Baby, he is over here typing. Like, oh, never mind. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
1 second. 1 second.
Hey,
said, I
hello.
love that avatar. Let me go ahead and change
Mhm.
that. Let me go ahead and do this.
Oh, one night
Make it better.
only.
How's that?
Come
Is that
on down,
better? Is that better?
Greg. I don't know if it's better, but it is interesting.
Ah.
Welcome to the platform.
Yes.
You ain't no stranger over here, but you've been gone for a minute. Now you back with the jump off. So do you want to tell the
Yes.
folks first and foremost where they can find you at out here on these social media streets and any other news that you think is relevant to them? And you guys, I do have all above information in the description box below. So please click on his YouTube link, give him a click interview, let him know that you're coming over there from the Conscious Crew platform. And I got his
Yes.
Instagram as well in the description box below. But go ahead, Bub, sound the hell off.
Yes. Before I get into that, I first of all have to say it feels hella good to be back on the Conscious TV platform. I am always and forever part of the House of Consciousness. I have loved to see your growth, your evolution, and it's very inspiring. And shout out to the other people that are rocking with us right now. Isn't this the time where you said that Christ would be up around this time when the realm or the veil between the realms are the thinnest? So it's funny that we're up at this hour having this type of
Yes.
conversation.
Well, it's one more hour from now. It's called the Fourth
Oh,
Watch.
excuse me. You
And
stand corrected.
no. Are you halfway there? And the scriptures talk about how he would often wake up during the fourth watch to do his communion with the spirit. And come to find out, there is a belief within Jewish mysticism that has a belief that the veils, the astral planes, thin out between the hours of 4 to 6, drawing God's spirit closer to the earth, which is an opportune time to pray, to consecrate, to seek God out for the pleasures of your life. It's also a prime opportunity for you hoes to exercise all the demons that are consuming and eating y'all asses alive from the inside out, baby, okay? Because God says he draws near to the funky and the filthy, baby, okay? He loves him some broken people, child. So you can bring all your brokenness, before the Lord, or all of your hopes and dreams and wishes and protections and everything during those wonderful hours. And ironically, if you just do a simple Google search of waking up at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., this actually is a worldwide phenomenon where people all across the world experience a sudden awakening during these hours, but oftentimes do not know why. There's also, once again, a belief system connected to that goes back to that Jewish mystical idea that it's the Holy Spirit or the holiest of spirits or your ancestral spirits, your guardians or the ascended masters, whatever language one wants to assign to it, are waking you up in order to communicate with you and to be one with you and to restore you and pour into you. So get your tired ass up and be one with all your people on the other side.
Yes, and what's so awesome is the fact that we can begin to, I guess, establish foundational understanding when it comes to these things on this platform. Again, I know a place where you can recharge your soul. The theme song rings, motherfucking true, bitch. No shade. So shout out to y'all that are here with us on tonight. Or
Yes.
tonight, Lord. This morning, excuse me.
And
Shout out
speaking
to
of
y'all.
that, you guys, this voice should sound even more familiar to y'all because this is the voice who's on the intro, who's singing the intro of my intro. Do
Baby,
you
I
know
sung
most of the
and
people thought
made the
that it
damn
was
video for the intro.
paid for it,
Mm-hmm.
edited, sung it? This was a pleasant surprise, honey, and I've been playing it ever since it was created in love. I loved it.
And I
Can
appreciate
you
it. And I thank y'all for hold on. First of all, the Conscious Crew, thank y'all. Because I know it was a moment he was like, I'm about to change it up. And y'all was like, no, we love it. So
and
again,
still
thank
is,
y'all. I
and still
appreciate it.
is. He gonna be creating a new one.
Oh,
His
an
his
updated one.
his voice gonna be on that one too.
Yeah, he want a more
Can you believe
ratchet
that
one, so
people?
we gonna do that.
Can you
Mhm.
believe that people thought that was me singing?
I mean, you look like a bitch that can sing, girl. Now, when you open your mouth, sometimes you be questioned.
It's for the Lord, so fuck you,
I know
hoes.
that's right. Okay, this battle is not mine. Okay, this battle ain't yours.
It ain't. Well, speaking of battles, Kim Burrell clearly is goddamn tired and
Yeah.
done sat her ass down and she done found her sweet spot. And, you know, she gave Jamal Bryant a almost hour-long interview, which was your idea to watch, y'all. I was not gonna give Kim Burrell none of my time, but Bubs is particularly caught to be Kim Burrell's accountability partner in life. Okay, so he had to check in and see what our post Ozempic body sister in Christ got going on in case he needed to straighten her out about anything. So we had got 11 minutes into watching this interview, and I was like, you know what? We practically was doing a reaction video in
Pretty
real time. I
much.
said, we might as well just go live and
Hell yeah.
really do this. So we're gonna attempt to recreate that, and we're going to do a reaction / review of the interview. Yeah, and we're going to carry to see what it gives. Anything that you want to say before we get into
before we
the
get into
thing?
that, yes, to CTV's point, I do have a little bit of a sore spot when it comes to Kim Burrell because, again, I grew up in the Black church. I love gospel music. I still have an affinity for it, even though I don't participate in organized religion. And she was one of my favorite vocalists. I mean, she's an individual that has inspired Beyonce, Sam Smith, Brandy. There are so many people who understand vocal technique and just how a singer is, not a singer, but a singer. And she definitely has that gift. And I hope that CTV has downloaded the clip I sent him because, no shade, at the pinnacle of Kim Burrell's success as far as her getting what she wanted in her own life, as far as a Grammy and more greater recognition than what the church would give her, there was a homosexual man that was her manager, that was behind her, that was helping her push her brand. And I want to show y'all that clip on tonight. So for her to kind of just flip and switch, and again, I don't know if because the Ozempic body was there, girl, you know, she could laugh a little bit lighter in a sense. So she got into her, cute girl, skinny girl era as far as the energy. Even though her head is still big, the body is kind of smaller, and she liked that. Instead of three fupas, it was like one. So I don't know if she was feeling herself, but when she said what she said, it was kind of like, okay, if you're going to say that in the church, that's different because you're going to have what is known as the silent sissies of the pew who are going to take that. But when you take that shit outside the church and try to force that on everybody else, don't feel some type of way when you get checked. So, yes, we're going to attempt to see if there is any growth, if there is any real introspective, retrospective work going on, or are you just giving us fluff? So, we're going to figure that out this morning.
Hey, baby father Deshaun, what's going on? Who says conscious and buff together, huh? Yeah, on period.
I told you that's his wet dreams, girl. We done manifested it.
Come on into the fold, baby. Come on into the
Come
fold,
on in the
Deshaun.
room.
Also, speaking of that, I had dropped the link for you, Deshaun, if you also want to join as well, because I know you be having you got a particular calling toward all the homophobes and transphobes in the world.
Yes.
So if you want to come up and get your licks on Kim Burrell, you can hit the link, baby. We also got some people who also had watched the interview. Hold on, somebody had just said that they watched it, and actually, Tawana, baby mother Tawana says, today I watched it and I actually enjoyed it. She was very transparent and vulnerable, for lack of a better word. So, okay. Now, do you want to, since you brought the clip, do you want to go ahead and unpack this Kim Burrell television reality show that never really picked up clip?
And no shade. If you listen, if you are an individual that participated in editing or producing this show, I want the Lord to really use you and allow him to help you through faith to release the rest of the footage, because I would love to see what's going on. But the Kim Burrell that she is now, again, I want to watch the footage along with y'all and I guess make my own assessment of it. But I mean, this kind of Kim Burrell that we've been seeing for the longest time here, especially in this clip, comes from a very prideful and egoic place. And again, you wouldn't expect to see that in Christian spaces. But unfortunately, as you delve deeper into it, you realize there's a lot of that shit going on. You know what I'm saying? The classism, the separatism, the different cardinal sins. There's definitely a hierarchy that also is influenced by white supremacy as well. So, you know, let's get into the clip. Let's get into it and let the people see what it gives.
Whatever it takes to sustain the momentum of my success, as long as I have my dream team. And with this team in place, headed by my brand manager, Consciouztv, they create my trapdoor to the world stage. Kim went through a major transformation, losing over 150 pounds. So when I decided to flaunt that success in the media, that might be too much. Thank God you're it caused a bit of a controversy. We got so much flack from that, from different people and from people in the church, etc. How does it feel now standing here being grabbed and nominated? And we're into through thick and thin, she and I are a team, and we have 1 million ventures to conquer together. We're off the Stellar Awards, the Tough Awards. Why? Because that work has paid off, and we've been nominated for all of those awards, even the Grammys. So Krishna is off to LA, and I'm on my way to meet him there. What number do you want? It does. What number do you want? Hearing about what I don't think that's so. I like all of it. I'm interested in all of it, not just what I'm taking.
Pause it.
In the bank. I ain't for this deal to give me no security.
I want y'all to understand that when she says I'm interested in all of it, you would think that she's talking about the bank. She's mostly talking about her DoorDash order. She wants everything on the menu. Press play. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And
Money in the bank. Let's get something straight. I bring in the money. I want what I want when I want it. It is not Consciouztv Ministries.
in other words, she's an overt narcissist.
Yeah. But again,
Now,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was thinking that this clip was going to include the line that had me gagging and sliding down the wall is when she was in a goddamn closet that she finally came out of and said she would do anything for her career. And it looked like she was on her knees for the Baphomet. When she said that, I felt like she was trying to send a whistle, that she was whistle blowing and dog whistling to the Illuminati when she was like, I would do anything for my career. My God. I think that Reckless got a longer clip of Kim Burrell as.
Shout out to Reckless for that. That's why I said whoever created that, I want the Lord to use you. Please, we need to see the rest of that damn clip. Because no shade, Kim Burrell has definitely had an ego death. And I'm just curious to hear how she's handling her ego death. Because as someone mentioned earlier, she was transparent. And I think that's very good. Let's explore that transparency and not just hers. How organized religion has also played to influence how she was operating. You know what I mean? Let's really dig into that. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yes.
Whistle while you twerk for Jesus. Come on. Shout out to the gospel tribe. I love Guai. You don't love Guai?
On period. Now, she sat down with the infamous Jamal. And I guess let's use him because we going to start off the reaction to where they got into the LGBT conversation. Now, Jamal recently, I think as in last year, had apologized, not per se to the LGBT community, but to a LGBT member of his church. And I'm not super familiar with Jamal Bryant because I wasn't my parents, we had a very soft relationship to the church. So church wasn't like heavy, but it was still the pinnacle of the family's faith. But there wasn't like a commitment to church growing up. So can you speak a little bit about what Jamal's, I guess, previous stances seemingly on the LGBT community was, if he ever expressed any sentiments toward the LGBT outside of this clip that we're about to play?
I mean, if anything, I think he just still supports the religious perception or perspective on queerness. I remember that at one of his previous churches that he used to own, they had a conversation about homosexuality and the church. And of course, even in that atmosphere, it was under the illusion of, well, we're going to stand on what we stand, but we're going to listen to you, but not really listen to understand, but more so listen to respond. But I don't know. I think because of Jamal's own public incidents, maybe again, it gave him a chance to be able to go through his ego death and probably learn to tap more into his humanity. But again, as queer people, and I think you and I were having this conversation before we decided to go live or speak on this. As far as queer people and organized religion, for some reason, there's going to always be a sting there for us. You get what I mean? Because it's like,
But don't get
Huh?
into that yet. Let them hit the cliff. Let them hit the
I had to
cliff.
tease a little bit, girl. Sometimes you got to rub it a little bit and get it
No.
hot and all that stuff and get, you know.
Because you be doing that 4 hours of foreplay and shit.
Hell yeah. So when that time come to release, baby, you going to see the spirit realm. And at that point, you might see the fucking numbers for the Powerball. Does anybody want to see the number for the Powerball in the comments? Please let me know. Okay? Let's continue.
You know what?
Okay.
Now he is talking to a bald head lesbian in this clip. So okay.
Apologize not for the gospel. I apologize for our treatment. The Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
Don't love the neighbors you agree with.
Yes.
Don't love
I feel like the
neighbors.
people who want to understand it.
Yeah, but they didn't.
Yeah.
They took that sound bite. So it was a convention of the LGBTQ churches. They met in Atlanta and they invited me to come to do a panel on branding. I moved the conversation in a whole nother agenda.
Gotcha.
And I moved it because sitting on the third row of that conference was a young man who was a member of my church in Baltimore. And I stopped and I asked him how old he was. He says 32. Said, how old were you when you came to my church in Baltimore? He said 15.
Wow.
So what you all did not see in the clip is I apologized to him because in that church, I am his spiritual father. I then asked on that stage, how long have you been in Atlanta? Said he's been in Atlanta 3 years. I then turned in my seat and looked at Bishop Allen, who was the host, and the pastor of the LGBT affirming church here in Atlanta. And I said to him, I owe him an apology because I'm his spiritual father. But he has come out as gay since I've left and didn't feel safe coming to me. So thank you for pastoring him where I have failed him.
Now, this clip was really interesting to me because, as I was telling Bubs before we got up here, because Bubs and Deshaun and my boo Miss Stevie and Tick for Tat, who's another content creator
Shout out to
out here on these streets. Yes, shout out to all the content creators. Y'all had a dope build on church indoctrination and all of that. And I was granted the privilege of being able to join y'all in that discussion. And, when we was talking about this, I was saying, this is kind of where my personal attitude kind of deviates from the majority of my community. Because I know a lot of our community, especially in this time where we really want space, we want agency, we want, to really be dignified and humanized by dominant society. Our community really wants people to change their minds. But for me, I really call myself and pride myself on being a very reasonable person. So I try to find middle ground as well, and not just the idealistic ground and the idealism reality, and create space for the middle, because that's probably more of a realistic expectation versus trying to get the idealistic results. And when I heard Bryant basically say that, he's not going to apologize for the gospel, hence, what they think is anti-LGBT sentiment in the scriptures, which is also erroneous. Those scriptures are largely taken out of context and have nothing to do with same-gender loving people nor same-gender loving behavior. And Jesus was definitely a advocate for the punks. But you know, he was apologizing specifically to a young gay man who was a member of his church who did not feel like he could confide in his own pastor and got that nurture and that affirmation from another pastor. And he also thanked that pastor. So this brings me to, like, for me, I think there can be a middle space. I think that people can have their beliefs as long as they can also have a humanity and they can respect our humanity.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
like
Yep.
if you feel like homosexuality is an abomination, or you feel it's immoral, or you feel it's wrong, or whatever it is, and whatever compels you to believe that, okay, cool. But if you can also respect me and afford me the same safety and civil liberties in this community, in the outer world, as you would anybody else, then I can call that fair.
Right.
You know, I think it's too much to attempt to kind of like change people's minds. And if there are people that can really be educated out of their total ignorance and biases and prejudices, I think that's dope. But if there is also that other group that's like, I don't believe this is right, but I'm also not going to get in your way.
Yeah, it's
I can
kind.
I can
I'm sorry.
respect that. Yeah.
No, and I kind of want to piggyback on what you're saying. Like, I think even you shared on your platform using the example of um your grandmother, as far as her saying,
Yeah.
you know, I know what the Bible says about it. I know what my personal belief about that is, but that's not my job to judge you. All I'm going to do is just love you. And I think that's what Christ would want people to do, is to just love. So if people would operate from that space more and honor the humanity, look past that, I think it would be more beneficial and healing. And who knows, there might be some gray areas that are established because we've moved through the fear to where now we can actually start solving a lot of the problems that all of us are dealing with. And if I can really quickly,
Mm-hmm.
CTV,
Yes.
there has been a book that I have been reading for the past week and a half right now. It is entitled Blame It on the Dress: The Manufacturing of Black Homophobia and Performative Masculinity. So please keep that name in mind, because there are going to be some things in the future that are going to, you know, kind of delve deeper into this. But I kind of want to read a little excerpt from it, um, if I can, just really quickly. Again, the name of
Yes.
the book is called Blame It on the Dress: The Manufacturing of Black Homophobia and Performative Masculinity. And this is chapter 2, Who Taught You to Hate Yourself? Homophobia is a Tool of White Supremacy. So there's an aspect, a section here that speaks on Christianity here. The role of the church in policing sexuality, Christianity as a colonial weapon, how forced conversion imposed anti-gay ideologies. Now, to understand the roots of Black homophobia, we must confront an uncomfortable reality. Christianity, as introduced to African societies through colonization and slavery, was never or not about spiritual salvation. It was about control. European missionaries didn't arrive on African shores with Bibles out of benevolence. They came with a dual purpose: to conquer land and minds. And in their mission to civilize, they brought not only European religion, but European prejudice, including a deep seated intolerance for queerness. Now, before a colonization, African spiritual systems were diverse and often accommodating of gender and sexual fluidity. Again, shout out to Consciouztv, done countless lives expressing that with facts. So, again, shout out to that. But
Indeed.
when European missionaries arrived, they declared these systems pagan, sinful, and primitive. The Bible became both a weapon and a shield used to justify colonial rule while demonizing indigenous practices including same-sex relationships and non-binary identities. I got one more paragraph and I'm done, y'all. Forced conversions were commonplace. Enslaved Africans were baptized not just into Christianity, but into the moral codes of their captors, codes that framed queerness as a sin and heterosexual patriarchy as divine order. This religious indoctrination wasn't just about faith. It was about reshaping African societies in the colonizer's image, and that image had no place for queer people. So with all that being said, that has bled into the Black experience, which is why you have the individuals like Jamal Bryant, who did say, yes, I apologized to that one boy who is queer, and you feel some type of way because he didn't come to you as you being his spiritual father. Well, maybe it was the way that he possibly saw you in the past treating other gay men in a derogatory way, or supporting the ideas and the ideology of demonizing these people. So of course, why would I come to you and tell you what's going on in my life? Why would I believe that you can help me to connect to the all supreme being, but you're teaching me to deny myself, which is the one thing that creator wants to connect with. So it's just very interesting to me. But I just want to see what's going to happen as far as, are they going to have an awakening? Are they going to figure some things out for themselves? I don't know. And again, that book is called Blame It on the Dress, The Manufacturing of Black Homophobia and Performative Masculinity by J. Charles. Please make sure y'all support dope ass content creator, dope ass book. Really get into it. That's it.
Shout out to J. Charles. And you just gave me a really good talking point that we're going to walk right into the moment that his interview starts with Kim Burrell on the queer stuff. And before I press play on that, I also want to say to what Bubs was saying earlier too about this sentiment, like to love the sinner. I mean, that you can love the sinner, not the sin, which is just this is their rebranding of that is, not apologizing for the doctrine, but loving thy neighbor, which I do say is a far more poetic way of trying to, ride that fine line. But for me as a homosexual, as a same gender loving man, as a two-spirited bad bitch who is born to be a gatekeeper between these two universal polarities known as mask and femme, I am always going to experience a sting, even though I'm going to allow this to be fair, because this is probably as good as it's going to get when it comes to dominant society, is like, where we feel, or, I don't like it and I don't agree with it, but I'm not going to get in your way. Okay, cool. But I'm always going to want people to go deeper than that and to really transcend the prejudice altogether and to not be completely informed about our humanity because of a book that was not only weaponized against us, it was also weaponized against Black heterosexuality as well. This book literally not only stripped queer people of autonomy, it was used to strip Black women of their autonomy, used to strip Black men of their autonomy. It was used to do some really sickening, heinous, twisted things to the spirit and the well-being of Black and brown people. And so it's also something really warped and bizarre watching the Black community pull from a book that has so much Black travesty connected to it, and to pull their privilege and their supremacy from a book that was used to prohibit Black people from even liberating themselves to begin with. But I know that's largely due to ignorance. It's largely due to the systemic reverse engineering of the Black community, which white racist patriarchy obviously has been successful in doing, which is why we still have anti-Black practices within the Black community and self-hate being passed down intergenerationally in the Black community, because all of those are the scathing results of imperialism and patriarchy, but I'm going to let it. I want to, for the sake of my own sanity, I'm willing to settle for your right to believe what you want to believe, as long as you don't get the fuck up in my motherfucking way with your belief, or else I'm gonna have to send you directly into your beliefs so you can have an eternal conversation with your father, your heavenly father.
Truth is,
Okay,
I'm
so
tired.
hey, Miss Stevie. Hey, boo. What's going on, my love?
Yeah, shout out to Queen Stevie.
So you just alley-ooped into what we finna get into. So I'm gonna play the audio because baby, I don't need Jamal. He probably ain't gonna try to strike, but since this commentary might not go completely in his direction, honey, I need to be able to get around his striking abilities.
Understandable.
So I'm just gonna play audio only, and we're gonna use a thumbnail as a reference, baby.
Yes, but I will say this: if that is the case, you over here saying that you grown and you evolved and you're better now. Well, this is the opportunity to see if that's the case. We gonna see.
Well, I already know what I already know that he didn't do just that, and it's rooted in what you just said about her. But let's get into the interview, y'all, courtesy of the Jamal Bryant platform. Let me put up my fair use disclaimer. All right.
The church as bipolar.
You wait, because the moment comes, even if it's 6 years later.
Wow.
It's good.
Yeah, no, that's significant.
Yeah.
I've never seen the church as bipolar and conflicted within itself when the civil war between you and the LGBTQ community. What it is that you said is not anything different than what Kojic has said, what PAW
I just said, they taught me.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was as if they had never heard this a day in their life, and respectfully, you weren't one of the generals of the church.
No.
You weren't a bishop of the church. But it was give us Barabbas. Yeah, and I think it garnered a much larger conversation on where was the duplicitous nature of the Black church.
I'm glad that
Now this really kind of I'm gonna have to tug on the toupee that Jamal is going to be needing probably within 9 months, considering the way that hairline is looking. I thought it was interesting that he padded that up the way he did for her, talking about, basically acting like he don't know what the smoke really is, because first of all, she don't hold no notable position in the church aside from being a gospel artist, but she's not a general, she's not a pastor, she's not a deaconess, she's not a prophetess, and was like, basically the whole church in general feels this way. So what's the problem? Jamal, I'm gonna have to hold you accountable, because you just came out of a situation, per the clip I just pulled up on TikTok, of you talking about what your own toxic homophobia and queerphobia led to regarding the queer people that you had access to through your ministry, who you failed. So the audacity of you to now minimize the impact that Kim Burrell's toxic sermon and execution and clear vitriol toward the community had on all of the people that she had access to, all the LGBT people she had access to through her gift, her talent, and through her celebrity. And for you to have kind of more so worried about her personal ego in a situation that you should be holding her accountable for, because you can still, to your point, not have to apologize for quote unquote the gospel, but you're also recognizing now through your own anecdotal experience that there is something wrong with the delivery at the very least. There's something completely abusive, destructive, and dehumanizing about the way y'all deliver this sermon of salvation to queer people under the guise that y'all are sparing them or saving them, you know, from the wrath of God. So it's just another missed moment on Jamal's behalf. He had an opportunity in this moment to stand and have some continuity with what he had came to terms with last year when he had, you know, that experience with his gay church member and realized he dropped the ball and ... And so it just would have been enough for him to just simply say, you know, can you talk to us about your journey with the LGBT community and the tension there, instead of just trying to deflect and dilute it, because as a public figure, Kim should be held to a certain standard, especially when she's representing my motherfucking Lord and Savior, who attracts through love, not berating, not intimidating, not browbeating, not bullying. And as I said to Bubs, the real reason why the church has really gotten away with y'all's bombastic, ballistic, dehumanizing rhetoric, not only toward just queer people, y'all done did it to the whores, the prostitutes, and everybody who is shacking up and every damn thing else. The only reason why y'all have really gotten away long term with this behavior is because you hosts didn't have an HR department for the longest. Okay, there was no overhead, and y'all abused the privilege the community gave y'all by pedestalizing y'all. And because this was the toxic practice of the church, y'all were all in unison with the way that y'all represented a sovereign God, the way that y'all represented an unconditional, loving God who sent his only begotten son to give his life in ransom for the souls of men. So that was another misnomer on Jamal's part as well, that you don't even realize that you also just doubled down on the literal toxic culture of the church toward LGBT people, and ultimately just really undid all the damn work that he claimed to have been completely enlightened of last year when he was talking to, you know, the same gender loving woman about his full circle moment. Just completely, just, you know, allow that to just become all undone. And I think this happens a lot with people who kind of be having these compartmentalized circumstantial enlightenments because they really don't actually sit within an actual community of queer folk that allow them constantly to hold to the continuity of the enlightenment. I see this just generally when it comes to spirituality and period, that like if people are not incubated into community and into relationship, they will lose the longevity of their progress or of this perceivable change. Like if people spend too much time back in the old world, they will result ultimately back to their old ways. So I just wanted to say that. And I just think that this is interesting. And this is why the church just continues to be a negative place for same gender loving people. And I'm happy that same gender affirming churches actually exist where people can come in and can literally be focused on God instead of being focused on who's going in their assholes.
And let's talk further about that as well. I kind of want to jump in real quick because I
Yes.
like where you're going. I like where you're going. But even with those churches and individuals who create that safe space for people, not even just really queer people, just exclusively, but just people who have been ostracized or shunned from the church, all the sheep from the other folds, they come together to congregate and, like you say, look past the labels, actually delve into true, genuine healing because of the way that this system is set up and the treatment that queer people deal with, especially from children all the way up to adults. Especially if you're an organized religion, that's a mental, emotional, psychological thing that's going on that needs to be dealt with. So to have a space where you can reconcile all of that and know that God loves you in the midst of all that is a beautiful thing. But with organized religion, even when these individuals try to become Christ-like, the church at large judges them. For example, the Vision Church in Atlanta, that is a um, affirming church for everybody to come in. Let God do the work. We don't do the work of God except for love. Let God transform you. We just creating the atmosphere and the space for that. There are people now that are protesting outside of their churches, telling them to repent or perish. Even when both Kim Burrell and Jamal Bryant issued apologies to the queer community, there were people in the comment section saying, well, why are they apologizing? Well, the Bible says this. It's like it's defeating the morale of organized religion. But in all actuality, isn't this what Christ would want you to do? To be actually inclusive, to be able to see the humanity in someone and not let the label keep you separated from that individual, especially if you're operating in love. But these are people, especially in the Black community, who are just putting on their Sunday's best and performing. And I think someone in the comments says that it's very performative. It is. It is very performative. And especially with Black people who are emotional, they found a way to be able to transmute that and benefit off of that. And I kind of want to read a little bit more of this book real quick. No shade again, blame it on the dress. The Manufacturing of Black Homophobia and Performative Masculinity. It's just going to be a few short paragraphs. Scripture as social control, selective interpretations justifying racism and homophobia. So again, you have white Christians that are racist to Black Christians, and Black Christians in proximity to that power end up being homophobic to their own people. The colonial church didn't simply introduce Christianity to Africa. It weaponized scripture to uphold systems of oppression. Just as Bible verses were cherry-picked to justify slavery, they were also used to condemn same-sex relationships. Missionaries and colonial administrators latched onto passages like Leviticus 18:22, "Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is abomination," while conveniently ignoring the, again, broader context, okay, of African spirituality and social customs. But it wasn't just about the text. It was about who controlled the narrative. Europeans controlled the schools, the churches, and the legal systems. They decided what counted as moral and what didn't. African traditions that embraced sexual diversity were cast aside as sinful, while Western patriarchal norms were elevated as God's will. Last paragraph. This selective interpretation continues to shape Black churches today. Many Black Christians fiercely defend anti-gay theology or find soft ways to do it, unaware that the very doctrine they uphold were once tools of colonial domination. It's no coincidence that the most homophobic rhetoric often comes from churches rooted in colonial missionary tradition. These churches inherited not just Christian doctrine, but the colonizer's moral framework, one that sees queerness as a threat to order and control, which is why you have Kim Burrell and Jamal Bryant doing the so-called damage control. If you were actually walking in love and let Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior, actually be head of the HR department, y'all probably wouldn't have all these damn issues. Y'all would probably be able to transmute y'all own shit as opposed to judging other people's shit. No shade. That's it.
And I also want to say this. I mean, I mean, I have been out of the church circuit for probably 2 decades, so I really don't know where the church is at this point. But I know that old habits die hard. But I really hope that that this kind of abusive way of trying to appeal to queer people, I hope that it is considered outdated. I hope that the delivery style has changed, because all that this bullying has really done is led to the increase in the DL download population. Because this type of browbeating has not resulted in any queer person's genuine transformation. It's only resulted in sometimes queer people attempting to modify their behavior while still being same gender loving in their hearts, while still being trans in their hearts, while still being non-binary in their hearts. So once again, I am of personal belief and standing that when it comes to matters of the heart, you have to actually present from the heart. And not your disastrous as low vibrational ego, and not your projection, which explains a lot about why Yahshua loved a lot of time when it came to transformational work in people's lives through healing, through offering community, fellowship, etc. And then tried to inspire the actual wicked to come all the way down by giving them a polarizing message of you hoes gonna burn in hell. That's gonna be the restorative justice for you hoes. But everybody else on the broken spectrum, baby, y'all just need the love of it all, baby. Okay, so galvanize around father hen, mother hen. But this style is completely destructive, and heterosexual people need to really take up arms with this outdated way of the churches preaching to queer people, because once again, the gaze of these styles of teaching become the performative hetero husbands and wives tomorrow. The dominant society become the beards to these queer folk who have been beat into hetero submission. But let's forge ahead, child, and shout out to my baby mother Nene for the old nasty piece, a child support check.
Come on,
who says listening in, honey. # carry on, period.
Comes to you. I'm glad that you're revealing that was a perspective of importance to you.
Yes.
It was just proven through too many to name. I hope I didn't step on your words. Are you a bit thought?
No.
Okay, because I respect how you feel about it. And it feels good to hear someone in my field, in my religious field, talk from that place, because I didn't begin to feel abandoned until it became way too quiet, when the noise was louder than the surrender of what I thought should have been the church to say, oh, no, we all say that. It's how she said it. Y'all make her take me, you know what I mean? Yeah. So when that didn't happen, I said, oh, this is something else.
Yes.
All right, let's readjust. I see that this, I'm going to tell you, I resolved 1,000 times about a million things, because it gave me room to, because I refused to blame anything or make anybody else come into a circle of what I was figuring out that God had me in. After all of the details of what you just explained, other people did it, other people have said it, even in more harsh ways. I absolutely garnered posture from people that influenced me. And the influence that they had on me started at a very young age in church, so to speak.
And to what 504 said, it's not their ego, it's what some of them are hiding. If they banish people from the community, they don't have to face themselves of their truth. Now, of course, like, there's that group, but I don't believe that this rhetoric against homosexuals is per se always also rooted in closeted LGBT folk who are trying to pretty much beat the gay out of you because it's a way of trying to beat the queerness out of themselves.
That part.
I also do believe that there's another sector of the community that really that's doing this for one, just out of cultural habit and practice, because we copy and paste, because instead of being innovative and actually recreating the wheel, we just copy and paste shit. And then there's another segment of that sector that is truly under the belief that they're on the right side of life and they're on the right side of truth, and that really believe that their fellow queer brothers and sisters are going to burn in hell. And so they call themselves being very invested in you getting to heaven. And while some of that can be argued to be admirable, it's all still very dangerous. The delivery is dangerous, especially if it's abusive and toxic and berating. But the messaging itself too can be rather dangerous as well, even if it's tied up in a pretty little fucking bow. It's all still very problematic. But I don't believe that all people who are a part of religion who have this attitude are closeted down low men and women themselves. It's a community that's made up of a lot of different parts who have their own reasons for why they preach this and why they preach it the way that they preach it. But is there anything that you want to say?
No,
to that?
Go ahead. Okay. No, we good. I got a lot to say, but we good. Go ahead.
Aggressive one. It was a slight version of what the world heard and saw me do. It was a female, soft, sure, spirited delivery of what not only I had garnered from the environment of what I've grown up in. I was sure of the motive of why I was doing it. That gave it passion that came off as abuse to those who don't understand the real world in church. Like when I say this, we have such a world. We have our own language. We know how we know people that are in church, how we dress. We go to grocery store and say that's church. And it's not an Easter suit. It's just we have a spiritual
Pause
posture.
real quick.
You know, it's church. It's church.
It's interesting she said that, yes, the church and me, again, having a lot of history in the church. Yes, we do have our own language, our own way of doing and being, but so does the queer community. So here it is. You have the opportunity to learn more about the queer community and to integrate love into that aspect, but yet you want the queer community to integrate what you believe, though, and make space and grace for you to be like, oh, well, y'all don't know how we talked, and what I put out as passion, y'all see as abuse. Okay, well, let's play that game then. Let's look at the actual facts of what happens in this church. Yeah, queer people's experience is not abuse to you, but y'all interpretation of a book towards us has been abusive, which is why we try to leave and make our own spaces. And even when we do that, y'all still have a problem with that. So it's just very interesting that when it's their turn to actually walk out Christ, because somehow they feel like they're exempt. So when their time comes to actually walk that out, now all of a sudden, don't trip. He ain't through with me yet. God's still working on me. God's still doing, but you don't have that grace for the queer person. Do you know what I'm saying? So it was just very interesting that she said that, but you can continue if you have nothing else to say.
Yeah, and I find it interesting that there be all this conversation, but it's like Jamal, speak about and be as out of the closet as the gays are about your own infidelities and alleged hypersexuality, and who failed you? Who failed you? What resulted in some of your alleged behavior? Because to 504's point, you know, some of this resistance against queer people, and I think we discussed this on Tit for Tax platform as well, is a lot of the pushback against queer people is from people who they may not be living in the LGBT closet, but they're living in their own closet. whatever that closet is. The closets of I'm a freak hoe. The closet of I'm a cum guzzler. The closet of I'm a sack chaser. I'm a weed smoker. I'm an alcoholic.
Amen.
There's a lot of closets and masking that is being done in the church because, once again, the church cultivate and forces people to assimilate. There's no space in religion to be authentic. Exactly. Authenticity and its nuance is not recognized in the church. So it ends up fostering a very performative space where people have to assimilate, where people have to pretty much find themselves, what's the word I'm looking for? Conforming. And when you have, the queer community coming in, spinning and twirling and all of our authenticity, that looks very audacious to an imprisoned people. That looks very audacious to a people who are living within the psychic prisons of their minds, which is a making of religion. And if they can't be free, they don't want your gay ass to be free either. They don't want your trans ass to be free either. They don't want your non-binary ass to be free either.
Which means, bitch, shut the hell up. Go back to church. Give all your damn money to the church. Even though when grandma been giving money for the past 50 years and when her ass gets sick and she need help, the church ain't gonna give shit. And when she die, you got to pay the church to have the funeral, and she been giving money to the damn church. So yeah, girl, it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
It is a lot. But I want to get into it though. I want to get into it.
Okay.
I'll never forget, I got to London, England many years ago, and I got there and I'm switching out the money before I left the airport, making the exchange, and the church in me said, when I received the money back, I said, all right, Mother better have our own money because Queen Mother was on it. And the person behind the petition said, Her Highness the Queen. She corrected me in that instance. And what I loved about that, what I learned from that, is that she had been taught to respect and to honor and to do what she did for. Even behind there, even though I was foreign, she didn't have time to teach me a lesson, but show me, this is how we respect it. She didn't bash me. That's the misfortune of the four walls of the church. They don't always know what it takes to be beyond the four walls. A lot of what has become the church in the earth had no social media, had no nothing, so they got off. Those of us who got the gift to do more than the four walls of the church, we didn't necessarily get the training. I didn't. Of how to handle the world and speak to the world with the same conviction, same understanding, same level of anointing, and make it stick without having to be the posture of what we're all used to. I didn't have that outfit. I had to learn it through the ridicule of others. I had to learn it through all the screams, the hollers, the kicks. And the truth of the matter is, Pastor, after I found out that there were words that were vicious and it started to turn into that, my family suggested that I turn off the social media. They didn't want me to be hurt because I'd given them the rule, hey, this is not y'all's fight. I need y'all to calm down. Don't go on social media responding, trying to defend me. I'm your sister. But they don't know that. Right. They don't know what I mean to you. You got to relax. So he said, well, if you want us to calm down, you got to come off of your social media, that kind of thing. And so with the church not necessarily saying we all say this and we have all said this and our forefathers taught us how to do this, I found out that it was a bigger fight. When you end up on the front cover for something that everybody has said, when you drive up to your house and helicopters are over your head, news cameras are walking to your door without your permission, your 80-plus-year-old father is walking to your door to tell the cameramen don't walk up to your property with cameras, this, that, and the third. You walk outside to go to a place to eat. And there's a constable outside of your house because somebody does care. That's a part of law enforcement. And they heard that your nice little S550 that you've been driving has 3 gunshots at the back of it. One that is directly behind your head, at the bottom, same area, and then in your trunk. 3 gunshots, really. So constable comes out, lives at my house 7 days straight.
Wait a minute. Do you believe this, Bubs? Is this our first time hearing that as a result of Kim Burrell's queerphobic rants that there have been threats against her life and that her vehicle was mutilated.
Now, to be fair, I've heard some. I have not. I'm going to say speaking ignorantly here because I don't know all the facts, but I do believe I did hear something about Kim Burrell dealing with 3 gunshots to her car, which I don't know who would want to take Kim Burrell out. I don't know if she had enemies like that. But what's very interesting is that all the things she's talking about, oh, you know, I have the paparazzi and the cameras and the helicopters over my head and I can't go nowhere and go out to eat or whatever. Well, girl, you said you want to be Grammy nominated. So the universe is giving you what comes with stardom, with celebrity, girl, especially now that you're at a higher echelon or trying to get into a higher echelon outside of the church, because Kim Burrell has always been an individual who's kind of been on the fence when it comes down to religion and the world. Let's not act like she has not done music with a lot of R&B people. She even had a album called the Love Album, which the church gave her a hard time for that. And I love that album because, again, I think as someone said in the comment section, Kim Burrell's voice, you cannot deny it. You know what I'm saying? But
I ain't
this
never
is
heard
what
it
you,
to deny it.
yeah, this is low key what you energetically wanted. And I think that if Kim Burrell is to really work through her ego, she can finally manifest the Grammy that she wants and all the other things that the church has told her that she cannot have. Because what's very interesting is that these individuals will condemn queer people, but yet the queer people are the ones that are responsible for their fashions. We saw what the hell was on top of her head when she was doing that queerphobic ass sermon, girl. I don't know what dead carcass that was, girl. What roadkill was on top of her damn head, girl, and them Ugg boots and that goddamn Timu ass onesie she had on with the big ass knuckle rhinoceros print in the front that would look like it was callous and shit like that. But the queer people have always gotten people in church together. Like another group of people that I like, the Clark sisters. I love Karen Clark Sheard, Dorinda Clark Cole, all of them. They get their hair done by gay men. They get their makeup done by gay men. How is your makeup stylist doing your damn makeup and shit? But I done saw this nigga at the damn gay club, girl, in person with a drink in his hand. So again, they don't mind utilizing queer people in those spaces to make them look good. Again, you give us your gifts and your talents, leave your humanity, you know, at home. But isn't my humanity what God wants to know more so than anything else? But again, these people, if they really knew God for themselves, then maybe they would actually be able to walk it out as opposed to being performative and doing the safe thing and what our forefathers did. Just because your forefathers did it doesn't mean that it was wise. And on top of that, your forefathers ain't give a fuck about your black ass and still don't. So you need to be asking what the ancestors think about that if we're going to really keep it a being. No shade.
I can believe that her vehicle was shot up. I believe that Kim Burrell took out her rage against them punks, canceling her ass out on her own damn car and shot her own shit up.
Lord.
And had a Mary to Mary moment, honey. I also don't know what Kim Burrell is trying to say. On one hand, she kind of is minoring in this conversation around, oh, well, you know, I recognize, you know, the execution and some of the language is hurtful and abusive, but she seems to be majoring in deflection,
right,
as well, by bringing up everybody else and bringing up, once again, the overall toxic practice and pathology of the Black church toward queer people. So I'm like, what are you trying to do? Like, this woman really has a problem with just full accountability. Like, y'all try to sprinkle in a little bit of the I see the light, but then keep really revving up the justification for your fuckery. So whichever one is true is what you just need to double down in. If you realize the language is hurtful, the execution has been terrible, and you realize that in all of this back and forth and accountability, then just say that. Why say that and then keep dog piling on top of that with, well, you know, I'm getting called out for what everybody else is doing and what everybody else has said and what everybody is. It's like, what?
And like, the thing is, if wait, I'm sorry.
I mean, and I haven't watched the whole conversation, But I'm sure, based upon the way that Jamal even segued into this, that he's not going to be any help in assisting Burrell to stand on a solid point, because just like Jamal has already missed the mark 3 times already in this conversation, considering his own contradictions compared to what he said last year about all of this, he's also, Kim Burrell is also missing the moment. She's missing an opportunity to also have continuity by actually saying, look, just, I have been corrected. I have recognized, that the delivery is very harmful, etc. And I'm going to make an indictment against the church for teaching us to make people feel worse about something that they're probably already judging the shit out of themselves over any damn way. And I'm going to make a formal apology at the very least to the way we've spoken about and to queer people, because we don't see any evidence of our pathology or our methodology in the framework of Christ. We don't even have a scriptural reference for how we've been for generations toward queer people. So we are out of order. And I'm going to, take this opportunity on the Jamal platform stage to send an open memo to the rest of the Black church and to say, y'all, we need to do better. No, we don't have to, quote unquote, apologize for the gospel, but we do need to be more consciously aware of the way that we are representing Christ and the way that we're delivering this message on behalf of Christ to people that we believe we're called to bring into relationship to Christ. Because, baby, by the time these folk get to the hem of Christ's garments, honey, they're going to be crying not only for what the devil did, they're going to be crying for what the fuck we did to their ass too, bitch. So, it's just a total it's just, all of it is just so, it's such mixed, contradictory message, and I'm disappointed that Kim nor Jamal can't be realer than this, baby. I mean, just sit in your homophobia. It's these type of people that actually make me respect just the flat out homophobes and queerphobes. Like, no fence riding, no performative bull crap, just gonna call it down the middle. I actually can respect that the same way the Old Testament God can respect picking a side, because everybody else on that fence is lukewarm and must be spewed out, honey. No lukewarm. This is literally what lukewarm looks like. This is what fits riding looks like. This is what trying to have your cake and eat it too looks like. Anything you want to say before I press play?
Go ahead. I want to see if she gonna gag us, because who knows, she might be able to gag us. There might be a moment where it might be some clarity. So I'm willing to be objective and see it, but we gonna call it out, because it ain't just her. It's really the mindset, again, like she said, of the forefathers of what I've been taught, challenging that tradition. Because let's just really clock it. The Black church, or church at large, has never really served God a day in its life. It just served the Bible and organized religion. It serves conformity. Instead of going out in the highways and byways and actually connecting with the people to make the gospel personal for them and just connect it and infuse it with love and let God do the rest, they're saying do it our way. And the gag is, the way that they be doing it, they still be struggling in their own damn way and been waiting 10, 20, 15, 10, 20, 15, girl, what? 10, 15, 20 years, Andrew Caldwell moment, girl, and God still ain't do it yet. But yet there's a crackhead who came into church and right there at that moment gave it all up and was able to transform their life. And they ain't been going to church all that time. So again, it's about your belief. And the more that you love yourself and love your neighbor, that's where that real transformative work comes from. But these people operate through fear. So I mean, this is what they're going to do, be performative. But we're just going to call it out, just like how y'all call this shit out and calling out our so-called blind spots. Allow us to do the same thing for y'all. It's a mirror experience, okay? This experience is both-handed. And the universe, baby, really knows about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Despite what y'all believe, it includes all of us. So,
That part.
Kimberell, this is just your time. And with you wanting to be a high-level A-list celebrity girl, this is what you're going to have to deal with. So learn from the experience. No shade.
If she continues to drop the ball, I mean, I hope that Jamal is going to help to 3-pointer. I mean, I hope he's going to be some saving grace in this combo, but I guess we going to see, child.
Girl, he might be Shaq from the 3-point line. I'm a gay man. I don't even know how I know that, but I know that's a mess. Go ahead.
One would pull off, another would come. I drove up to my church without my permission. The Muslim nation surrounded my church. They walked up on me and they said, "Hey, sister, the Christian community is not doing what we think they should. We don't see enough of them. So we are here." You know, Cornell did, right? Yeah. And so all of the guys show up and I say, "Of course, come on in." And so I'm looking at bow ties and suits and order and love from the Muslim community to say, these were their words to me, Dr. Bryant. You know, they say, "Hey, Burrell, we wake up to die. So we're here for you." I had people walk in with a rainbow flag wrapped around them sitting in church, and I had to have church. I had to learn on the job training how not to continue to offend. I didn't know that it was offense. Had it been meant to offend, that was a target. Because they came the next Sunday, I could have gone for it. It wasn't that. It was in those moments that I said, "Okay, Lord, this is something bigger than I'm having to learn." I wish I could say that
it wasn't meant to offend. What else was supposed to be the interpretation that if you are a same-gender loving woman, if you are in the practice of, as a woman, putting your face in between the breasts of another woman, you are a pervert. You're perverted.
Perverted.
What other interpretation? What other impression could that have upon same-gender loving women aside from offense? How are statements like that supposed to not be offensive?
Because with it being
I
part
don't
of the system,
understand.
with that being part of the system, they would have expected that the fear part would take over, the self doubt part, the self deprecating part would take over, to where you would just find a way to submit to that. I mean, look at some of these individuals who consider themselves ex-gays, individuals who of it, but yet still have the same sex desire and just been taught to suppress it. That's something that you need to do. Some sort of martyrdom is something that is natural to you. But again, that indoctrination, that fear, and what comes with that, because just like Kim Burrell said, when she was talking to the Muslim niggas said, "Bitch, we willing to die," which means that say what the hell you want to say, you protect it and cover, and let any of them punks or those hoggets come over here and do some shit and shoot at y'all. We gonna show them, quote unquote, what real men look like. So the fact that she was able to say that is kind of like, in a sense, reinforcing, oh, well, maybe I need to stand on this. When the queer person comes in with the rainbow flag around them, this was the time to minister love to them. Minister love. What's going on? What's happening in your life? Allow that person to break and to use love to build them back up. Not to love them for who they are and who they're not. Just love. But here it is. Well, I have to learn on the job how not to offend. Well, if you're operating in Christ's energy, offense will not be on your damn mind, especially when it comes down to love and inclusion. Now, calling shit out that is actually destructive to people, i.e., organized religion's perspective, you don't call that out because you benefit from that. And on top of that, you don't benefit enough because you're trying to get some of the world too. So again, when we're talking about the fence, girl, you definitely on the fence. So it's just very interesting to me, again, with the theatrics of it all. But the black church is used to theatrics. I mean, you go to church now, it's like basically going to a fucking concert. And I think Carlton Pearson even said it, may he rest in power, how the church now has become a place where you can be spiritually turned on and this spiritual foreplay to get your emotions all up and just flowing and just popping and all type of shit. But then once you've had that very high or that spiritual orgasmic moment, here we come through with the offering. Girl, give us your money because we blew your mind. We blew
I
your
think
mind.
I think that a lot of this erroneous as teaching and theology is also the result of people who didn't have to get a master's in divinity and theology to begin with, and are out here speaking recklessly from a book that they don't have any cultural, any metaphysical, any historical understanding of. And religion should have some type of standard or gatekeeping in that way, where those who are going to represent themselves as leaders have to also have credentials, have to actually have an educational academia backing before they can even occupy a position of influence upon people. And religion particularly should be regulated in this way, considering how much of a powerful psychological weapon that religion is. Religion is so powerful that people ran planes into buildings in the name of Allah.
Okay. But 99 fresh type vagina.
Religion is one of the most psychological tools amongst man, is attaching so-called God to the end of a message. And people have given up their lives, for better or for worse, in truth and or in total deception, in honor of whatever said messaging that is. I don't know why Christianity has been allowed to be as wide open as it is, that any rapist coming out of the penitentiary can start a goddamn church, that any ex-murderer or a pedophile or any goddamn body baby can just come waltzing out of the holes of hell and just start a storefront church, and then be on a pathway to having a mega church and be a whole national or global powerhouse. Like, it is wild that there is no type of social standard for who gets to sit within that pulpit. So I think a lot of this corrupted theology and teaching has come from the fact that a lot of Christian leaders have not even had a formal education to begin with in theology. That is what's also led to, instead of a lot of correct theology, instead the teaching of a lot of Christendom, a lot of so-called church beliefs that actually are biblically inaccurate and not even biblically sound, but just teachings and ideals that are just more cultural to the institutional practice of Christianity. What these people largely teach is Christendom. But when you get into the etymology of words, when you get into these authors and the times and the people in which they were speaking to, when you get into what these stories and these verses are referencing, this is an entirely different message meant for an entirely different people. When you also strip this astrotheological book of its actual metaphysical and poetic components as well, you fuck around like an idiot and end up having a literal interpretation, even of things that are metaphorical, things that are allegorical in the text, things that are purely metaphysical in the text, and your dumbass will be sitting around teaching an allegory as a literal. My God, today. My God, today, the religious fallacies. And once again, Christianity has put itself in this position by not actually gatekeeping Christianity and by not resurrecting a standard of theological education behind those who will be given the privilege of being an educator of the quote unquote word. Let me press goddamn play.
We're gonna break it down, y'all.
Father will call and say, hey, rescue me. Ooh, I feel the Spirit of God. I'm sorry, I felt the touch of God. I didn't need one. I needed Father God. I needed his nature. I didn't need a philosophy. I needed order. I needed growth. I need maturation. I need not to be told that I'm a great singer right now. I don't need to be reminded. So God let me take on a job, an assignment for 9 months that I didn't see coming. I was minding my business, continue to do whatever doors were left open for me, to get calls from churches that says we have to pull our money because we can't be affiliated with you. And I'm thinking, for the things I learned to do from the church, oh, okay, it's an even deeper fight. Lovely. Thank God I saved money from the real deals I made. And so I had gone on into life to continue to embrace the detail of what was inevitably happening without an aid, without, hey, so what do I do next? Give me some instruction. I got calls of encouragement. I never forget, one of the first phone calls I got was from great woman, Dolores Winans, the mother of the great legacy of the Winans family. And she said what she said to me. And I answer that way, not to keep the details of what really would garner praise to her, but I have learned how to even protect those who the fight wasn't for. There was some artist who called me and said, I'm going online. I said, no, don't do that. Let this crowd have only me. Let me eat us one at a time, if that be the case. Let me have it. Don't do it. Save it for when your time comes. Because if you continue to preach Jesus, your time is coming. So just save yours. I'll be here for you. Just when Wendy Williams kind of said whatever she said about the Clark sisters, I jumped in the comments. That was probably 3 to 5 years after my event. And I jumped in the comments right away. I said, all right, you're touching royalty. Don't make me come to New York and have a conversation with you. And somebody said, wow, Kim Burrell, I didn't even see people come to your rescue this fast after, what happened to you. I didn't respond to that. I could have and said, I know you're right. I'm witty. I can come back quick. My mind.
Oh, yeah.
I'm witty. I was reminded in those moments in my growth. The Lord said to me, with your wit even, he said, I gave you your wit for inventions, not conversation of defeat, to engage in and bringing people into a circle of a different level of conversation from your perspective of how you feel about what they're saying. Are you kidding? I'm not throwing punches with that. When I would hear words that deception gave people to say and misunderstanding in a moment that they don't know about a posture of what church does, and they don't know that I was doing this from what I've learned, and I'm still.
And here we go, this doubling down and this justification.
Locked in an era of time with my life that I have to do this. This is made just for me.
She's burdening everybody else with the responsibility of understanding her instead of burdening herself with communicating in a way that's a reflection of her actual intent. Yeah. The burden is on you to show up according to what your intent is. The burden is not on other people to now pull your Carfax and to explore all the variables that might explain your behavior in some other way than what it looks like at face value. Your job, our job as people, is to communicate in the way that is a true, integral reflection of our intent. The burden is not on other people to do the extra homework. I mean, and this is like the narcissism of it all. This is literally the narcissistic gaslighting and deflecting of it all. Oh, y'all failed me by not understanding me. Baby, if you don't even know the basics of being a speaker and being an educator, which is to know thyself and then communicate thyself accordingly, then sit your wobbly booty ass the fuck down. It's literally just that simple.
And the further gag about it is that all that she went through as far as her journey and her experience is the exact same thing that queer people go through. So it's funny how like it's a parallel reality happening. Just she's also dealing with rejection from the church. Again, all the doors that were left open. You know, you had people in churches that already invested in me who literally told me they had to pull their money back and say we can't be associated with you. And it's kind of like, imagine how many queer people feel that way once their church discovers their sexual orientation or their gender identity or expression. And then for her to say, as you were saying, y'all failed me. If the church failed Kim Burrell and Jamal Bryant failed the gay boy, why do we feel like the church is going to save you or save us if it's continuously failing? I think we need to focus more so there. There's a lot of failure that's going on in the church. Where is the power that you claim to walk in? And this gives you the opportunity to do so. And they fail the majority of the time. But when they fail, it's okay. They can justify, like you say, find a way to justify it. But you don't have that same grace for queer people when they justify their life experience. So again, it puts into a greater context where it says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. A lot of y'all gonna fucking learn the full reality of that, me included. So again, let this be a lesson for all of us to be aware of ourselves, to heal. Yes, it's gonna hurt our ego and stuff like that, but if you work through it, you can become better. And from what I'm hearing thus far, it just seems like Kim Burrell has just fallen back into the damage control aspect of it. Let it die down. Let them just kind of, figure it out and stuff like that. But then again, I definitely want to talk about her apology. Hopefully she gets into her apology that she made to the queer community, because there were people in the comments who didn't hold back, who did go live and condemn her, even when she said not to do it. So just very interesting to
and the reason why Jamal is so goddamn quiet is because he's trying to make it through all this fucking word salad that she is tossing, because Kim Burrell has said a whole lot of nothing so far. A whole lot of nothing. I mean, she's literally just sitting there self-loathing in her negative, bitter, badass behavior. And Jamal, because he's stupid as hell, is just letting her do it, because he ain't come that more further down the road on anything than she has about any of this shit.
I have to do this. I literally made sure that I covered others to not come into that ring. I made sure I talked to my artist friends. Don't say nothing. I don't care if they call you. Tell them you have nothing to offer. I know you love me. Leave it alone, because they're going to get everybody. Just chill. It's okay. I got it. There's a lot to this story that I'm going to continue to expose in the documentary that I'm building even now, because there's so much more to me than that. But it gave me a platform that made people believe that that's all there is to Kim Burrell, is the controversy of her mind and what she decided to say to hurt others. And she came and apologized even to the LGBTQ. And that's what the church decided to prove even more so, unfortunately, to the world, how ill-equipped we are as a conglomerate. Why we cannot get along on the same platforms, why we can't afford to see someone of your caliber walk in an environment that you have helped to save with your education, with your posture, with your fight, with your bravery, with your ability to divorce in front of the work.
Are y'all looking forward to Kim Burrell's documentary titled "What These Hoes Did to Me"? Are y'all ready for that, baby? Because it's coming, sugar.
And recover well, but you're still intimidating when you walk in a room to your brothers, to your sisters of the faith. We're in bad shape, and we need God badly. I have been in public life my entire life.
I sympathize with you.
Yeah. And I have never felt the pushback that I felt from when I went to a Christian LGBT convening. They brought me to talk about social media marketing and the impact of that. And I apologized for the role of the Black church inflicting domestic terrorism. That the same level of hate that white extremists have inflicted on us is what the Black church has done to that community. And the brutal outrage of pastors who said, how dare you love? How dare you beg for grace?
Oh, wow.
When I consider myself a champion of human endeavor and human rights. So I say, okay, it's wrong for the police to beat Black people, but it's not wrong for the Black preacher to abuse people. And it really was, it was shocking for me.
Was it?
It was.
You know, from what I have endured, I asked that with a smile and I go, was it? Because I know what it feels like and I know how to recover. That's why I have a smile when I go, was it? Because you're still here.
Yeah.
And you're meant to be here.
Yeah.
And it was such a necessary thing. You say when they called you and said, how dare you? I just wish in some way that they would have finished their question properly. To me, you know, when you make that kind of call and you're calling one kingdom to another kingdom citizen, it should go like this. How dare you expose what we've been hiding in our homes for years, and we have to wait for our children who are gay to come to our tables at Christmas and Thanksgiving, and we have to embrace them as our children when we're really filled with hate for the choices that they've made to embarrass us because of how hard we preach against this. How dare you? That's the finishing of the question. Not keeping from exposing what you're hiding. I hate the hypocrisy that the church taught us to give and name it honor. And say, you know, you don't tell everything. Everything that happens at home stays at home. Well, that's what has cultivated so much and breeded so much that has caused us to have to work double hard to get this double honor. Yes. You know, but I'm determined to fulfill the work of God and smile through it, but fight the real fight. Yeah. And my reasoning, I'm just gonna go here.
No, let's go.
We had 100,000 on it.
Yes.
Let's take it to
Yes. I'm here for all of it.
You know, I got a call from Don Jackson, the owner of the Stellar Awards.
Yes.
And let's just say during the time of my exposure to the world from the perspective of whatever took place that caused all the riffraff with the LGBTQ. It was not, let's start here. It was not for them. I'll get back to that. I'm on Don, all right?
Yes.
Okay, bring me back to when it's Don, okay?
All right.
I'm 52, don't judge me.
You look great.
Thank you. This brain of mine doesn't like to agree with it, neither does my knees, but that's another story. But Don Jackson gave me a call and he says, we want to honor you. Here it is, 8 years after the event. And he says, we want to honor you with the Aretha Franklin Icon Award.
Wow.
And I did not want to separate myself from that opportunity whatsoever.
Right.
The reason that I say it that way is because I had to think before saying, that I don't mind it, because they were silent so long, you know, they never said anything, you know, except that you were not welcome. I know Don would not want me to necessarily expose that, but right. to his defense in the stance, he asked me to meet with LGBTQ in some way before even receiving the award, because they were supporting in such a way that they felt obligated to say, we're not done hating her, or we're not done disliking, or whatever, and your freedom to do this, we're on board to support what it is you do, but she's not a part of that support yet. And so he had to call me and say that. Dr. Bryant, instead of me starting what I know could have been a war, in my place and mindset of sacrifice that I have become for the sake of the kingdom and for what God has given me to do, for me to move forward, I decided to take that meeting. I said, instead of me saying, okay, hello everybody, it's Kim Burrell. As you know, I've been championed as the Aretha Franklin Icon Award winner by Stella Awards. They've told me to come. I've told you to come. And I'm so proud of the moment, but I just got a call that says I've not been invited to come because there are people on the team who have not yet accepted that I'm worthy of this award. And Don has agreed. Instead of me taking that and extending it and saying all of what I could have said, it only would have started a conflict with gospel. We're already suffering.
Right.
Stella Awards are not as packed as they used to be. Those that are there, they know that. It's not what it used to be. It doesn't have its same glory.
Right.
So much has changed in the industry.
Baby, heaven gonna look the same when a lot of y'all find y'all asses not there as well.
Music and in the kingdom. So with that, I didn't want to diminish even that. Said I won't uninvite people and give them an option to feel a certain way because of the stance that this man is having to take. It's too big of an entity. So let's have the meeting. Why not? I have nothing to hide. And so in that meeting, there were things that were done and said that I had every right to say, well, hey, take your award.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But I decided to hear what they had to say. And I felt it was time. Because what's an apology? If it's not needed, there are a lot of times that I heard in some.
Baby, you know what I am gonna give her credit for? Now, this is this bitch standing in the continuity of what she said in that closet. I would do anything
Oh, come on now.
for my career, including fake apologize to motherfuckers if that's what it takes. Because I ain't letting this opportunity, baby,
And
to
she
be
just said that
recognized.
earlier, as far as, well, you know, I don't want to be known as this great artist right now. I just don't want to deal with any of that. But here comes this
hypocrisy.
award to literally honor your gifts, because Kim, you do have a gift. But again, it's like, for you to sit there and talk with the queer community, it's kind of like, well, I'm going to do my martyrdom and you know, even though I could have said something to start a war, not realizing that by you apologizing, girl, you low-key started a war any damn way. That's the funny part, because the church was upset and mad at you. So here it is, you trying to people please and self-serve the same religious institution that, no shade, has. This not the first time they've been mad at your ass. This is like the third, fourth time they've been mad at your ass. You've been pissing the church off in your career consistently too. So here it is, you have the opportunity to actually do some Christ work, because when she was saying, oh, you know, I just hate that we all can't share the same platform and the same stages together. And it's kind of like, the gag is, we've been sharing the same stages. Look at you musicians, look at those who are the part of ministry, those who are part of administration, those who are in the pews, who have money to give to the church. They've been supporting and complimenting the church. It's just that it's never been reciprocal. So now we're asking for the church to be reciprocal, and y'all struggle with that. So y'all want everything but can't give nothing back. Damn, the hell is going on? Now, she do look good in this thumbnail right here. The hair look nice, the outfit looks good. The shoes, I know they are reinforced with space titanium, girl. Okay, some what's that nigga name, girl? Trump motherfucking side man, girl. Elon Musk, girl. Them Elon Musk material on them heels.
She got on these custom made ass SpaceX boots, and like 504 said, the wig came with the beanie.
Damn, not a Temu set. Come on now, make it work, make it work.
So between Kim Burrell, what Bubs just said, and I just said, how the hell do you contradict yourself and also expose yourself all in the same damn breath, baby? Now this is how you use your upper register illegally, baby.
I love
Yes,
God.
God.
You don't love God? What's wrong with you?
That people identify themselves as LGBTQ, and they were saying on there, and I didn't hear it as ridicule, I swear it. I heard it as help. Give me clarity. You hurt me. That was wrong. I don't care what my motive was. It was wrong.
Right.
It was wrong. And so it needed to be fixed. Those people matter that heard it wrongly. And that's what has happened to a lot of what has happened in the kingdom.
This woman just said two contradictory things all at once. See, just admitted she was not going to let this opportunity to be recognized with the Aretha Franklin Award go by. What the hell is an apology? What is an apology? In exchange for an Aretha Award. And then try to alley-oop into, I sincerely, go back, baby, sometimes I hate that my Father, my Lord and Savior Christ, gave me ears to hear. Because, baby, these motherfucking ears be hearing it all, girl. Sometimes I hate that my Lord and Savior gave me eyes to see and ears to hear, girl, because sometimes I just be wanting to be just as blank-minded as everybody else, and just oh God.
And no shade, it didn't just give you ears, it gave your supporters and they nosy ass ears too. So shout out to the Conscious crew also listening. We appreciate it. But I mean, yeah, when you listen to what she's literally saying, she said in the meeting, there were some things that were said that were like, huh, you take this award and shove it up your ass. So it was like, I appreciate her being real in those moments, but I would want to see more of those moments because I feel like that's the real Kim. Not this fake ass performative ass Kim. Like, girl, like, let's just roll a blunt up. Let's go in the back and talk, girl. Get DoorDash on the way, girl. You gonna love that shit. And let's have a real conversation.
Come out of the closet, Kim, and just stand in your debase, shallow shit, child. Because she just practically admitted she fake apologized for the sake of being recognized by the same world she claims she don't need to be rewarded in. At the top of the goddamn interview.
And she said,
I'm open to the rewards, but I'm not looking to be awarded by this community. But literally was so pressed to be rewarded that you acted without integrity and apologized for something that you don't got no problems with, which is why you spent most of this interview so far defending it and justifying it by, well, this is how I was raised. And y'all the ones who misunderstood me because this is just a part of the culture. But you know what? Since y'all gonna single me out, even though everybody else do it, since y'all gonna single me out, since it's been decades and decades and centuries of us, okay, I'm gonna recognize it as hurtful. But everybody, girl.
But then you sit up here and say, oh, well, I realized it was hurtful and I was harming them. And it's kind of like when you apologize, again, it feels like it's fake because if you apologize and the church is going against you, then I think you need to stand on what it is that you have learned from these 9+ months of not singing, sitting here, being alone, and really trying to evaluate yourself. Now, the universe gave you an opportunity to do that, and here it is. You are trying to find a way to have your cake and eat it too. And I mean that figuratively and literally, Kim, because we know you love cake, bitch. No shade. I do too. Red velvet, okay? But it's just, if it was authentic, again, we would have really appreciated that. As far as, again, you meeting with the queer people. Why you want to shove the award up their ass? Because now the queer people want to have a conversation about things that were troublesome. You just said, if I'm wrong, correct me. Teach me. Okay, well, you have other people that are coming through to help educate you and teach you. What are you going to do with that? But again, you got Muslim goon niggas on the side that's ready to be hitters and shoot and shit. So you ain't pretty much worried. And you know what the church really believes, because even through your martyrdom, you still ended up inciting a little bit of a war, or I guess a very big opportunity to continue the queerphobic conversation from the religious perspective. And you also got spanked on your hand at the same damn time. And that might just be optics, because again, she's still standing firm in what she believes and projecting that onto people, because she said in the beginning that when she did it, the one, you're perverted, that was the soft version of that. That was the womanly, sensual version of that. That was her version of it. And girl, I want to say something a little dark. I'm gonna say it. Never mind.
Let me pull up her rant just for reference sake. Kim Burrell's pervert speech. Just pull this up for continuity's
Girl,
sake.
that is soft. What the hell does hard feel like?
Imagine making $453,000.
We misunderstood. It was misunderstood. It wasn't meant to be offensive. My God, babe, my God, today. Okay, here is the pre-Ozempic Kim Burrell, child. That perverted homosexual spirit is a spirit of delusion and confusion,
Soft.
and has deceived many men and women.
Soft.
If you are a man and you have taken another man's penis to your face, you are perverted, and you better not tell me, forsake the Lord, you are perverted.
Soft gospel.
Ooh, child, she ain't done. Let me see. They got the clip in there. Okay, and she said the same thing about our same gender loving sisters, girl. So what was the misinterpretation? What was I'm curious to know how it was meant to be received then, because she justified why she said it, but she never said like how was it supposed to be received?
She was, because if you look at her other previous apologies or explanations, especially after that incident, she says something along the lines of, I wasn't talking about LGBTQ. I was talking about sin. So again, we understand that y'all are focused on the sin aspect of it. Even when you look at ex-gay individuals who have no longer done the act or are celibate, the church doesn't want just that. They want everything completely transformed. That includes your mannerisms, how you walk, how you talk. And you have ex-gay people telling the church people, calm down. God gonna have to work on my mannerisms. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to find a way to make this work, or it's a part of who I am. But organized religion teaches you that you have to be completely transformed. So you abstaining from it is not enough. You have to fully assimilate in order for it to be a real, true, genuine, radical transformation. And as we can see, they fail in that as well. You have a lot of ex-gay individuals like Jackie Hill Perry, who has admitted that she still has same-sex desires even though she is married with children. You get what I'm saying? It's just a lot of this, just no matter where we go, and the reason why I call it queerphobic is because they will believe everything negative about queerness, even the things that they make up in their own mind, but simply deny our existence because we are naturally here. That's why it's called queerphobia. So for her, she's trying to find a way to still say what she want to say without actually saying it, because when she actually says it, she deals with being reprimanded by the world. And if y'all got the power and the world got y'all this damn shook, then who really got the power? Can we talk about that? But yeah.
I think it's funny how they literally, like, because they don't even know what they teaching, they don't even understand what they're teaching to begin with, they still are alley-ooping people on the pathway to hell, according to their own perspective, because the same scriptures where they're like, well, just don't act like a homosexual. You can be homosexual, just don't act out the homosexuality.
Correct.
Well, according to y'all's interpretation, I mean, the same scriptures, Jesus talks about lust and says, if a man so lust in his heart, then he has sinned against the law. He has committed lust. Mm-hmm. If he has lusted in his heart. So it wouldn't even be enough for homosexual people to modify their behavior. They would have to literally be heterosexual according to the erroneous way in which y'all teach the scriptures. So even this still doesn't work either. As much as a softer middle ground they think it establishes, because you got, to your point, ex-gays who still gay, but just force themselves to suffer through heterosexual sex and to assimilate to a heterosexual relationship and to bear kids, all in the name of not even so much as appeasing God, but appeasing the goddamn culture. What a miserable ass motherfucking way to live. What a miserable ass life to live. All because of the power of the bitchcraft and psychological warfare that religion has done on the vulnerable minds of LGBT people who already come in inheriting a queerphobic ass society. And of course, Biologic are going to lean into the teachings of the church, because assimilating to those teachings is a way of being able to safely navigate dominant society and still have access to community resources, which would otherwise be stripped from them if they lived in their goddamn truth. I mean, and the church, of course, has had to be judged accordingly. That's why God resurrected something called the church sector and allowed the church to be on the receiving end of all of the criticism and the judgment that it has met the world with. Whether it was reinforcing racism or patriarchy or the enslavement and raping of women, or whether it was the innocent burning and persecution of metaphysical people and spiritualists across Europe, across Africa, whether it was the raping of entire civilizations and pillaging of entire indigenous communities and tribes. Oh, baby, the universe ain't done with religion yet, baby. There's an even bigger brew happening. The universe is already shaving off the capital of the church, which is why it's falling away. It's losing its economy. Nobody fucking with it because it ain't real. It ain't been beneficial to no community. The same fucking communities that got a church on every corner are the same ones that also got the yellow chart, the yellow tape, and the white chalk marks of somebody's goddamn son engraved on them as well. Are the same communities got drugs and gun violence ravaging through the community. Bitch, you liable at this point to actually, girl, how you more liable to get popped in the church than you are at a goddamn gun range at this damn point? Oh, it's a lot of retribution that's come to the sanctuary. The pastors being exposed from left to goddamn right. Oh yeah, the universe is shaving off the top, baby. Shaving off the top. And ain't even done yet. It's like a pencil right now in the process of being sharpened. Okay. And it's going to be sharpened to a damn nub. And this tight ass interview, this non-accountable, talking out of both sides of both of they fucking necks as TED Talk is exactly why millennials and their children will be a part of the generations that we're bringing in to institutional religion and mainstream religion. In place of spirituality, in place of African spiritual religious systems, in place of our roots and metaphysical systems that are organic to our DNA and to our actual lineage and heritage.
We have lived by misapplied scripture, and it has given us a place in the world that is not respected. And we have to almost beg people to believe in God again because he has been named something that he is not. And he's been represented in large spaces in the nature that he is not. And he has been taught And he has been a version of him has been taught that has made a lot of people not want the true and living God. But he does exist. He exists beyond our egos. He exists beyond our inabilities to say that we're sorry. He exists beyond what we call church. And I just want those who have interest in God to take interest in him based on your own account. Search for him through where it is you believe he is. And the church is not always, but he is still in the church. As to why I'm here with you, as to why I continue to do it in his name, in churches. He still is in church. And I just hope that people who have been offended by me, by other preachers, will consider again, let me look at my camera, God again, beyond us. That's all.
No, that's beautiful. I just buried my dear friend Angie Stone. And I am amazed that the two of you's anointing and gifting is so powerful that it defies the boundaries of European standards. Because a lot of what has happened to music has been reduced to marketing.
Yeah.
It is not what you deliver, it is what you look like.
It's true.
And so
that's a very, very powerful statement.
Yeah.
Reduced to marketing, as big as marketing is. I was speaking with a company that I'm about to engage with that spends $200,000 a year just in a marketing company for what they do.
Yeah.
And to hear you make that analogy, it triggered something in me that you considered marketing to be small. That diminishes what we have.
Yes.
It says a lot, and I take that, and I understand it, and I appreciate it, because it is a value that is hard to convey, especially to a people who have not taken interest in learning that it's more beyond than what it makes you feel like.
Yeah.
We live this, the windshield wipers are going for most, and it's clearing the rain. But in my case, like that, it's not an interruption. Hearing that, it just became a part of my day. It doesn't throw me off. A windshield wiper for me is the tune to Rocket. Keep me running, Rocket, give me a start. Y'all next to me, y'all waiting on light change. But this windshield wipers are singing a song to me. It's just a difference in the mindset and the personality and what the gifting. And people don't know living with that is not something that we have preparing to come to the stage to present. Living with that is a part of our conversation, is a part of our makeup. It's a part of how we treat people at the gas station. It's a part of what makes us hear babies cry in a totally different way. It's what helped me become a really good mother. When my son was 4, I never mothered it. I raised my sister's children, but they didn't come from me. But when I had mine, helped to raise them respectfully, Kathy. Yes. Oh my God. And so when I had my own child, I remember driving with him one day, and Christian was 4 months, which, by the way, I hope this doesn't make you feel any older than we both are. Christian is 22.
No way possible.
Yeah, I know. And plays in his own band. He travels with them, and
wow.
And it's a Pakistani group of people. I've cultured him great. Okay. And so, what life has. But
so, Bubs, she ain't definitely going to address her apology because she seemed to have moved on from the segment.
Yes, because what was most important for her, unfortunately, because I was trying to give her, a chance to objectively prove if she changed, but obviously, no, if anything, it was just simply a rebranding. That's exactly what Christianity is going through. So again, you got this award. The only stipulation was you had to give an apology, and you gave that apology, and no shade. Even the way she gave the apology was kind of like, okay, girl, so I just give apology to the LGBT. It was just very dismissive, like, okay, let me do this and get what the hell I want from the situation. So I'm not surprised that she skipped right past it. If she was really accountable, she would really sit with that and even talk about what led to her wanting to apologize. If it was genuine, because again, if the love is there and you're asking the Lord to help you and to, sit you down and not really honor the egoic aspect of you, the performative aspect, but the real you, the conditioned you, how to deal with that. And as we see, the universe gave you an opportunity, girl, and you got what you wanted, but not what God wanted, the will that you say that, or the purpose you say that God has for your life. So again, for her, it's more so of her gifts and talents in reference to singing. But as far as the ministry aspect, yes, sister homegirl, you could definitely use a little bit more education in reference to the humanity aspect of it, because people are going to want to learn from people who've been through some shit and can be real about it and not be fake. And your whole situation this entire time unfortunately, as much as it hurts me to say, has been performative. It has been fake. But again, look at the black church. That's what we do. We put on fronts. We know what chords to play, what to say, what scriptures to say, how to move, how to jerk. We know how to pretend that's it. Because if whatever we was going through in the dark actually was projected onto a screen for all of us to see, oh baby, we all would be sitting the fuck down, girl. Who's gonna be leading who if we gonna play by that definition? But
I mean, since they apologizing for, you know, how they've misrepresented God and want people to keep their eyes on God, I hope that they really understood what they just said, and they both get the hell out the goddamn way then. And the only thing they should be allowing people to follow them to is to a university to get a formal education in divinity and theology, because that's the only thing they can motherfucking lead people to, is a formal education in these things.
Doing and being creative is a job, and coming around people who are cultured not to understand it is an even bigger job. When you are commissioned to them, and you have to wait to find out you're not only assigned to them. And I've had to wait in a developmental room with bright lights. That was a dark room.
Wow.
Yeah, my dark room had bright lights, and I've had to learn how to develop with that. Like you said, I was born in the lights. So was I.
Yeah.
In the eye of the public, you know, born with a target. That's a book you can't steal.
No. I'm gonna let you write it. Yeah. Our generation, I think, has come a major disconnect, and there's a great circulation on where's R&B. And I think this generation has adopted rhythm and divorced blues. So we like to dance,
Right.
but don't want to take time to cry. And it is out of that suffering that you birthed that sound. I want to know, how do you feel your divorce impacted your music?
Oh, God, it freed me. We both knew we didn't deserve each other in such a way. And we met and married within 4 months. He was a genius.
Not possible.
It happened, and it did. We met and married within 4 months. And you had the quality of who we were then, which would have made us being married now 25 years had we stuck it out. But we both knew that we needed a thing. We thought it was in each other, and we thought that it was going to take marriage religiously. Our religious minds took us there, and we thought that marriage would seal the deal and make what we had found out about each other in the brain make it even better. So our creativity brought us together. We knew nothing. We both had parents who had failed marriages, and not to blame them, but who do we learn from? We're not born with a list of things to do, rules. We have to learn as we go. But anyway, what life had brought us into, we were both in our 20s and making 20-year-old mind decisions with a lot of perks. You got money in the bank to do what you want to do, go for it. You make marriage a thing to do and not a life to live. And that's what I did. And I made it a thing to do, and it lasted for as long as...
Girl, you know what's crazy about religion? But, baby, that shit is dangerous. I mean, and it's not just religion. It's really any type of cultural condition can be really fucked up and really fuck people's lives over, because, we're swinging from the conversation around the way that religiosity has fucked up the lives of queer people. But now we're getting insight into the way that religiosity has fucked over the lives of heterosexual people as well, because here it is, it contributed once again to all of this inauthenticity, all of this fucking masking, all of this ritual. People weren't actually present. People didn't actually understand what the fuck they were supposed to be doing. They didn't know what was supposed to be prioritized as it relates to relationshiping and bond and love, because 98% of this shit has been performative from what they taught to homosexuals to what they taught themselves about love and honoring God, and two people who didn't fucking know each other, who connected on the most shallow levels, which is creative compatibility, married within 4 months and been living, at least for her, with eons of bitterness afterwards. All because of what religion did. And that's what they need to understand has been the same disastrous side effect of this queerphobia toward queer folk. Like the same system y'all honoring dishonored y'all and dishonors y'all every step of the fucking way as well.
Right.
The same broken ritual of religion and religious norms and Christendom is graping you all as well. It's no different than the Black community not realizing that they're in the same fucking position as the Black LGBT community is. It's the same issue and ignorance of men not realizing that the same patriarchy they try to indoctrinate women into is the same fucking patriarchy that's got a literal foot on their neck with their hands handcuffed behind their backs. Like, and it's all playing out in plain sight.
Yeah. Look at what it did to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say just quickly. Look what it did to Tone. He goes by B Slade now, but look what it did to him. And we can take it out of the realm of homosexuality and take it into heterosexuality. Look at what they've been doing to Leandria Johnson, even now with her struggling with alcoholism. Look at the comments and what they say. Look at individuals like, I think her name is Tasha Page Lockhart. She was doing some infidelity type shit. Dietrich Haddon, and even the man on the screen himself. So it's like, you would think these people would have these personal experiences and actually find a, like, they sit here and read a book about everybody else's divine experiences with the divine and the miraculous, but yet you deny your own version of it. And who knows, by you having queer people in proximity to you, you might be doing some transformative work, not just in their lives, but yours as well, that enhances you, so that you ain't got to keep living vicariously through all these characters in this book. You can actually have your own lived experience, own lived experience of it. And it's just, I guess, wounded healers, if you will, because these same individuals who are preaching salvation are the same ones who are struggling with shit, and they're afraid to be open and honest about it. I appreciate Kim Burrell doing that, at least trying to be more transparent. That's dope. I want the church to do that more. But now that we're transparent and we in that open stage, let's explore. Let's see what's there. Let's get our Iyanla on. Even Leandria Johnson couldn't handle Iyanla Van Zandt. She had to walk away. And yet she's singing about the goodness and the glory of God. But then when the opportunity comes for that to happen, she struggles with it. So organized religion is doing us more of a disservice than really a service.
My God.
Did to produce our son, and to this day we have great communication. As most in our culture, they don't necessarily teach to maintain that, whether it be taught in the home and you do it on your own or after you come out, but whatever. But our son is a great testimony of why we had to at least meet. And so
wow,
it is
how old is Christian?
22, accepted.
22.
Yeah, man.
So tell me, because you out to bond with a 22-year-old, he fully grown.
Mm-hmm.
How do you finish raising a 22-year-old grown black man and then adopt a whole grown Negro Tyrese?
Tell me how you take this old grown man and make him a son. Tell us, we need to see it, because one day I'm just scrolling and he's saying, my mother coming to town. I got to go see my mama.
Don't he say it like that?
Yes. I need to see why my mama putting this dress on and who trying to date my mother. I'm like, wait, what is happening?
Exactly.
Tell me how you adopted a full-grown man.
And what is his name?
Tyrese.
And his last name is what?
Gibson.
Y'all need no explanation? Okay, and there it is. So, having the first part of it is I'm to finish raising a 22-year-old man. That's an oxymoronic statement to me.
Yeah, because you never finish.
and no, yeah, and no. I have to tell myself the mommy side of me. To see you men, y'all got something else going on.
Yes.
I wish we had.
Yes.
But we can't, and we don't. And the mother side of me has had to finish raising him so I won't continue to. Because if I don't finish raising him in some way, I won't allow him to be the man that he's inevitably become. And I will get in his way to keep trying to garner his thoughts. And now I have to see who the grown side of him is so that I can adjust to becoming, if he needs something. I'm just trying my best to mother him and not raise him. So it's a different perspective for me with that. Now, in my raising, and I notice his immaturity, I will step in and say, from that perspective, let me raise this up in you.
Yes.
But I have to treat him like the man that, because he wants to be that. He's an only child.
Yes.
And he feels that spoilage. You know, when you come home, you get off the bus and literally Ty Tribbett is in the rain with an umbrella waiting for you to get off, and you're only 6. You come home one day and your auntie Whitney is in the house, and you go to sleep playing footsie and fight for her in your bed. That's been his life. And Tony Royster Jr. comes to the house and he's got you some sticks. You're 2 years old. You're on stage with me. You come there and Harry Connick Jr. says the second half, we're going to put Chris on the drums and you're only 8. So he's had a lot of moments that has built him into the person that I love that he has become. He is my greatest accomplishment so far. And I've done quite a bit.
No, that's a blessing. That there are a whole lot of people.
Yeah. Go ahead.
What you going to say?
No, I didn't. I forgot the second.
Chill. I be like really be trying to listen when Kim Burrell talk, because she's so used to using her mouth to hustle that like she talks real fast, and then she says so much that it almost kind of be sounding like mush a little bit. But I think what she just said was she's challenging herself to find the line of demarcation between being a mother to a grown man and I guess transitioning into being a friend that can be mama whenever he needs that, now that he's a man. If that's what the hell she was trying to say in her own way of trying to say it, I like that. I like that she does realize that the relationship does need to shift, because I think a lot of parents don't adjust according to their kids, like becoming of age and needing to be respected and honored as adults. And I'm not really talking about like honoring them in terms of being an adult as far as their ability to fucking go live on their own in this raggedy ass economy and nothing material, but in terms of like they've reached an age and a state of consciousness where they can make their own decisions and when they have a strong sense of self and being able to put some respect on that, because a lot of parents are not even thinking that they need to back the fuck back, or that they also need to make a transition as well mentally. And they're still treating a lot of their adult kids like literally kids. What do you think about her, challenging herself to, slide to the left? and adjust as a mother, so that her son can feel like a man, and can be supported in being a man, rather than her treating him like a boy, which is something she would be doing if she stayed in the identity of mama mode.
I'm glad that she was able to shift with her child, because I believe that's the one thing that parents should do with their children. Like, a lot of times when we bring up the Bible, they use the scripture of to respect your mother and father, so that your days may be long, but they never they tend to forget, shall I say, the completion of that, where it says not to drive your children to wrath or anger. So again, there's accountability on both parts. Like, if parents understood that they were just bringing in another consciousness, and that consciousness is also going to teach you to also be better, not just as a parent, but as a husband, a wife, a partner, a better friend, a better, whatever the case may be, to be better in that. So the fact that she was able to, first of all, let her child be around the experiences that she has manifested, as far as, again, Whitney here, and just all this, I guess, what society would want as far as the higher echelon experience. He was able to have that. And I'm glad that she was able to allow him to experience that, but also control the narrative, because in those areas, it can still be very predatory for children. No shade. Nobody wants to really talk about that and delve into that. But now that her son is an adult, and especially since I'm going to assume that there was no father figure in her son's life, I'm going to assume that she had no choice but to go ahead.
And she talked about her and her husband. I think that's a baby daddy, right? Or that was a son from another relationship, because I think that she said that her and her husband had him. That they only came together if for no other reason to procreate.
Yeah, but I don't know. I may have misheard as far as if he has continued involvement in his life after that, because I think they got divorced, right? So, I mean, I don't know. I have to go back and listen to it. It is 5 in the morning. So again, if I, miss something, please charge to my head, not my heart. But I'm glad that she was able to allow space for her son to grow and self-actualize as well. And I like the fact that she was able to continue to cultivate that mothering, nurturing aspect to Tyrese, because in the Black church, there were the Black church mothers that a lot of people linked on. And when we look in the Black community, it's really always Big Mama or the matriarch that really kept the family together. So I think these individuals continue to honor that, because no shade, niggas gonna honor their mama. Niggas love their mama. So I'm glad she was able to still create spaces for affirmation for those individuals. If only she could just do that for queer boys, then maybe, we'll be more balanced here. That would be the goal.
Yeah.
So
nicely put.
Part of the
answer.
5 in the morning.
Here we are.
Yes.
Fast
and furious.
Yeah, and that's how quick this answer is going to be. He's one of one.
Yes.
He gave me a call about I don't know how many years ago, but we've been in each other's lives a long, long time. But this reconnection is something that he needed, and I didn't give him that. It became a nickname. They all call me that because I have a mature stance in our circle, and a standard, And so they kind of gone to the name Mom is safe, you know. And he just calls me Mama like I had him, and he calls me Mama because he needs it. And what I give him, that gives Mama energy, although I'm only 6 years, if that many. Yeah, older than he. And there are some that are older than me that calls me Mama because of my stance with them and position that I take and, the spirit of my advice, so to speak. But he does that. I don't know why he uses the dialogue. I guess he says this is what he wants to do. When he says statements like that, where he's just crossing over his line. He just wants to get in my life. And and I let him know that, hey, moonwalk. Let the people know that was for social media. You run nothing. Stop it. So, we have a beautiful relationship to the degree. I know the codes of all of his homes. Wow. I never have to ask permission for anything that he owns. And that's from all the cars. Literally, I went to his beautiful home. He has 2 right around the corner from each other in LA. Why they do what they do with their money, it's them. But I went to one of his houses, and I said, I gotta go to the store tomorrow, and I don't want your people driving me around. I'm independent. I want that. So he went and bought. He's a S550 because I guess he knows that's what I drive. So
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really care about type. Read some fast forward.
That's fine.
Words of Stevie Wonder, he says, "Don't you?" And I didn't have more. Took me somewhere. I was offended because I'd gone through that before I watched my mother die in my house in 2011. And it was a different exit. That's your mother. That's when I prayed for you. That's a whole nother, you just went through.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother perspective of loss.
Yeah.
That loss actually for me contained succession. But losing Kevin, it contained somewhat of a recession. And I had to readjust in accepting that the inevitable is taking place right now. And there's nothing I can do. I'm hurting and my man is leaving me. My protector who walked in the church with his gun.
Right.
Who was ready. Came in, told the Muslims guy, yeah, y'all check in with me when y'all come. That boy was something else. He say, yeah, I know y'all here for my sister, but who protects her from birth? Yeah, that's me. I'm over that department. So y'all come.
I'm over that
Yeah,
department.
they say y'all need me in the office. I love y'all suits. I love everything y'all do. But come and see me. Because if anything jump off, we're not throwing hands. I gotta meet whoever it is from a distance. Because I'm me. You know, I had to keep all of that under. See, people don't know I had a lot that I had to endure because my words made a lot of people have to endure a lot.
Yeah.
So I needed my own job of enduring until I could get to the place where those who would choose to hear me, that is up to them. Those who would choose to see God or just see the value of Kim Burrell beyond what they limited it to based on occurrences and moments. Here's to that. But I had to choose to keep going in that moment when I wanted to give up. I wanted to entertain leaving the earth through suicide. I had heard it work. And I was going to entertain interviewing what that would be for me in the most dignified, religious way.
Yeah.
Until come.
You have any thoughts about that?
Again, she is going through experiences that queer people have been through and other ostracized people in the church have been through. But because of the social status, I don't know if she believed that that would just exclude her from that. So when these real life experiences happen, it's so funny that these people who proclaim to know the goodness and the grace of God, when their toughest moments come, they're crumbling and they really don't have people to really stand there with them. That is the part that is very baffling to me. And you want these people to join this institution and believe what you're saying. And it's like, who knows, that recession that she felt, that healing could have came through somebody who was queer. Because again, the queer people have always been there to support Kim Burrell before she did her queerphobic shit, and even after she did it, excuse me. So I was just hoping that with her going through this transformation, this ego death, if you will, that there would have been some real internal aspects about how she shows up in the world. There's a clip of her when she was on Sunday's Best as a judge. She just talked very nasty. But again, that's how I was raised. That's how I was conditioned. But now you're dealing with the backlash of that conditioning and you can't handle it. Maybe you need to shift and adapt in a certain type of way. But organized religion has taught these individuals that if you do that, you're compromising your way to heaven. You're compromising your spiritual credit score. So I really am sitting here listening, trying to be as objective as possible and hearing the human aspect of her. That's why I'm hoping that after this podcast with Jamal Bryant, that as individuals like us continue these conversations, that she will continue to actually walk out what she is claiming that God has revealed to her through her situation. We're going to see what that actually gives.
I know she's not going to. I have no hope for Kim Burrell because I can already see even in this space that it ain't enough. She don't have enough accountability. Neither do Jamal. That's why they both still delusional and hypocritical and talk out of both sides of their damn neck. They are surrounded by people who are just like them and who, you know, everybody is keeping their jobs, baby. And that sucks for them. I know she didn't mean to, but she actually really just exposed in this whole interview, even though she's trying to uphold the same religious system that's destroying her, she is literally just exposing just that how much this system has actually not done for her, but because it's a inheritance and because it's a part of the cultural practice of the community and family she was born into, like it is for most people, she has just continued to roll with it. Her marriage fell apart because religion misinformed her. Her treatment of other, to your point, marginalized people, in this case, other Black people, aka Black queer people, has fallen away because of her being informed by this system. And despite the system introducing her allegedly to the love of God, she still contemplated not wanting to live her life because this same system never offered her anything substantive. It felt her every which way. And the sad part about it is that she's so religiously indoctrinated that she probably is still going to give credit to religion for why she is here today, not really realizing that religion completely fucking felt her. If she were to look over just this interview alone and almost listen to herself as if she was having an out-of-body experience, she might actually have a goddamn awakening. She might actually have a, like, in the words of Ozympro Winfrey, a aha moment. Because this interview is revelatory, and I don't even think she clearly don't even know how revelatory it really is. And it's sad, to your point, because these people are out here trying to change everybody else's quality of life for this shit and can't even change their own with it. This is really very so interesting to me, because also, to your point, this is what the community of religion really could have been, is an opportunity for a bunch of broken people to do it differently toward one another and to give each other everything that their families didn't, that their fathers didn't, that their mothers didn't, and to recreate family in the name of harmony and compassion and charity and fellowship. But instead, most of these people just recreated their own toxic, dysfunctional at-home shit through the guise of being a man and woman of God. They just replicated the same out of order as ish
system.
Yeah, and missed the whole point. Because what we learning through the hurt of the LGBT, the hurt of church hurt people in general out of this system, is that everybody was attracted to Jesus because they were in pain. And this could have been a commonality. This could have been a commonality. That could have been a rock the church built its house on, is restoring people's hearts and restoring people's minds and giving them the affirmation and the safe spaces that the community and the culture and the families that they came from failed to give to them. But instead, it just became another system that may have started off with good intentions, that, like all other systems, that end up getting hijacked by the ego. Getting completely sabotaged by the goddamn ego. This is so interesting. I could probably do a whole entire psychoanalyst on Kim Burrell as just from this interview alone.
Oh, wow. That would be interesting. Definitely interesting live if you were to do that. Definitely. Because I think it's needed. Again, her mindset is not just her own individual mindset. It's a hive mindset. Again, Jamal admitted in the clip you shared that he failed a queer person who had to move to Atlanta and go to a gay affirming church just to come out as gay and happen to see your ass there, and you turned to him in the moment to save face because, again, you weren't there trying to have a conversation about salvation and love and inclusion. You were there because they wanted to learn the marketing part of it, the church aspect that you are so heavily involved in, the money-making aspect of it. How do we grow? And you wanted to use that as an op to, in a sense, apologize to the queer community. That's kind of like an individual saying, well, I'm not queerphobic. I have gay friends because I know gay people or one gay person. But I'm pretty sure, have you even had a conversation with that gay person about their life experiences to help you in your assessment of the queer community? No. These people are performative. And again, with Kim Burrell, because I have a soft spot for her, it's still kind of tender, but a soft spot, I kind of want to give her the opportunity. But girl, you see TV, so bitch, you be vindicated in almost every fucking thing that you say and share. And I'm about to ask you what the fucking Powerball number is, girl, because I need that in my life since you have that awareness. But if what you're saying is true, I would say go ahead and do that psychoanalytic aspect on Kim Burrell. And you know my ass will help you with that because I love the editing and theatrical shit. So we can definitely do it.
I don't even know if Kim is worthy of me even taking the time because...
Well, she says she wants God to work in her life and do things different and have introspective stuff. I mean, if she were to listen to this interview, I think that would be a dope conversation between the both of y'all. Or, hell, I would love to have a conversation with her. I wouldn't mind smoking a blunt with her because I feel like Kim Burrell do hit the blunt a few times. And I want her to just talk freely, girl. Cuss, bitch. Everything off the record, girl. Just
and that's
what's going on.
And that's the gag. And that's the gag. She never would. She's not. And
or at least she won't publish.
She would not ever be her authentic self. But see, what you can't be publicly is an indictment against your authenticity. So not being it publicly is what makes her inauthentic. See, true integrity of self is both who you are when people are looking and who you are when people ain't looking.
Correct.
These people would need extensive reforming. Like they would literally need to be reborn again, and they would need extensive reform in their lives. This interview actually is really sad to me. It's sad on both. I'm sad for Jamal and I'm sad both for Kim Burrell because I just see two stuck ass hamsters on a wheel. Running endlessly. And they don't even have enough self-awareness to have really done this interview in a way that's true to what their reality is. They are still clinging to the false self, to the authentic self, which is why they're contradicting themselves, which is why there's no continuity to what they're saying, to why they are still doubling down on a system that, when you listen, has certainly felt the living dog shit out of Kim Burrell, but she refuses to say that because she just has been in the practice of putting a fake ass equity on what's already a diluted and ripped off version of a African spiritual system to begin with, because Christianity is older to Africa than it was to Europe and anywhere else in the goddamn world. The oldest version of Christianity exists in Ethiopia. That's where the colonizers ripped it off from and remixed it and edited it.
Exactly. Great comment, right?
But it's really sad. It's really sad. Religion caused me to hurt other minority folk, aka the gays. Religion felt my marriage, and religion also felt my ability to stay connected to the life that Christ said he came so that I could have more of. And I was secretly preaching a salvation to the gays that I didn't even fucking believe in myself, which is why I wanted to kill my motherfucking self. I was preaching a life and a sense of connectedness that I was completely fucking out of touch with my motherfucking self. I was essentially projecting the same fucking sword across the gay community's throat that had been to mine, and nobody knew that I was personally suffering in this way because I had to wake up and pretend it was all okay. I had to do it for the vine and do it for the goddamn church. See, this is the real tragedy of Kim Burrell's life. This interview alone, she don't even know what she did. She don't even know how much data she just accidentally, just being Kim Burrell, just naturally just unloaded. This helps me to understand her intensity, her bitterness, at times her viciousness, her miscalculated and unbecoming behavior. I understand, because what we're essentially talking about is a bitter, angry, lonely, unhealed woman who tried to feel better about herself by, as she said, trying to assimilate to the standards of the church. Like she said, she thought she could master it. But you know, even though she's having these little like spurts of enlightenment, she still isn't fully like bobbing up to the surface and wading in the water. She's still underwater, but she has these moments where she come up for air. But she gets swept back down in the current of the unconsciousness of it all, of the inauthenticness of it all. She can't hold herself up above that current. This is fascinating.
Had to free me. And the Lord used my brother's voice. He said to me, I sat on the side of the bed 3 weeks after Kevin passed away. And I said, hey, God, if you don't want me to help you, you better help me. I said, if you don't want me to help you, you better help me. I said, I don't want to leave this earth. I know I got more to do, but this pain is unbearable. I can't keep getting up, feeling like I can reach for something and my arm don't work. That's what it felt like. So, you got to help me. You got to help me. So he used the tone of my brother's voice. He said, you know the reason y'all feel the way y'all feel when we leave the earth? And I knew it was God, because he wasn't just addressing me. I knew he was talking about me and my sisters and my grandmother, those of us who were left. He said, the reason y'all feel the way y'all feel when we leave, he said, because y'all don't know what happens to us when we go. He said, if you knew what happened to us when we go, you wouldn't feel like you feel. And Jamal, I think too much, because I said, God, this is your way of trying to just talk me out of this. This is real cute. I said, but it does feel good. Yeah. And it feels like it's working. So I'll take it. I'm going to believe that something greater happens because the pain is unbearable. Yeah.
No, it's a lot. A lot of people see people in a celebrity space and forget that you're actually human.
No, y'all forget y'all human. And y'all don't want to be human and acknowledge y'all humanness until y'all being canceled and then to remarket through y'all's now all of a sudden humanity.
But then turn around and sit up here and demonize other people's humanity and
that's what I'm saying.
From it.
It's the fraudulency and the fuckery of it all. Like it's a never ending loop of fraudulency and fuckery. It's like, what?
And what's crazy is that, again, these individuals are leaders and people who are supposed to show people the way. But when the opportunity comes for them to be on the same playing field emotionally as the people who aren't celebrities, they struggle with that. Oh, well, you guys gonna have to, understand that we have all this other stuff going on. But you don't offer that same understanding. That's the problem that y'all missing. That's why, again, with this supremacist system and this religion being the framework of a supremacist system, it's going to find a way to be exempt. So for them, will we select? First of all, if you are servants of Christ, you shouldn't even be a celebrity anyway. You should just be a tool of the Father. You shouldn't even be exalted at all. But again, when it comes down to the Aretha Franklin Award, I deserve that. When it comes down to, being the new pastor at this church, I'll take that. Again, all of the fame and the publicity that comes with all that. Like, y'all supposed to walk out what y'all preach, but y'all not. And y'all wonder why the churches are becoming more and more empty. It's something with y'all. It ain't us. It's y'all. We trying to help y'all.
And it is.
That you're actually a sister, actually a daughter, actually a mother. That gave no thought to her son can be reading this.
Right.
No,
and he did.
Yes,
over and over until I had to continue to be who I was, so I could continue to help him to become who he's becoming. I could not fail in front of him.
Yeah,
he didn't have a father in the home to say, "Hey, son, da 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 da." He had to have a mother who had to give him strength by way of the Holy Spirit's guidance that would impact him as if a father did. That's how I had to think. I had to talk to him like that. And I had to build him where I was being torn down.
You've done an amazing job of navigating both of those spaces. I'm a 90s R&B person all day long.
Me too.
I listen to Jodeci on nonstop.
I promise you.
Those are my people.
I promise you.
Who in contemporary R&B would you want to work with?
I would answer, but we already have. And Stevie Wonder. But who I want to work with, dead or alive?
Alive. No, I'm saying who's in rotation in 2025.
Oh, who's in rotation?
Yes, yes. Not legends, classics, contemporary, right now.
That's a legend or that's out there?
No, who's emerging? They out there.
Oh, shoot. That's my list. It's long. Right. Bart Orr. Bart Orr's father is a world-renowned pastor out of Memphis, Tennessee. Yes. And Bart Orr is a genius who is a PK and all the details.
I want to respond real quick to what Den said, and why are we the only race of people who have to have leaders? How can the blind lead the blind? Well, we're not the only race of people. All of the races of the world and cultures of the world have their so-called leaders and gatekeepers and influencers. I don't even have a issue with leadership because we do need leadership as a species because we're not instinctual like every other creature and mammal on the planet. We are a people in terms of a race that need demonstration. I don't even have a problem with leadership. The problem is that there's no graduation hardly from the followers. who initially may need leadership. Leadership is fine for those who need leadership. And I believe there's a place for demonstration, and a place for reference. There clearly is a right way to do life and a wrong way to do life. There's a damaging way to do life and a healthy way to do life. There is healthy ways of existing and destructive ways of existing. And we definitely have to be taught, per se, what that is, and what that ain't. But there definitely needs to be like a vast understanding of also, like, you seek leadership and you seek proper demonstration. You seek the best of the demonstrations with the intent to also have your own equilibrium. But, you know, I don't find leadership to be problematic itself. I find toxic leadership to be problematic, unhealthy leadership to be an issue, erroneous leadership to be an issue, and unhealthy dependency upon leadership to be an issue. Because true leadership should result in your baby birds being able to effectively fly as well. Even if they still choose to be in the nest, they have the capacity and the capability of their own flight abilities, their own mastery of the skies, even if they still prefer home. But to Kim's point, if they've been properly nurtured and parented, mothered and fathered, then they're well. If we look through history, we've had some great leadership at times. When leadership is well, it's been powerful. It's been revolutionary upon systems. Matter of fact, we owe a lot of the breakthroughs in humanity from the proper leaders resurrecting as leaders, and then inspiring and compelling as many others as possible to tap in so we can tap the fuck out of this bullshit. But I'm definitely with the argument that, you know, unhealthy codependency and toxic leadership, both of those things can be completely horrendous and have a profound destructive impact on the collective and on people's lives. And all people should eventually, if they're going to assume themselves as a follower and appoint a leader, you know, need to also be using that leader to cultivate their own selves accordingly and to carve out their own authenticity and their own purpose in life, because that's the way healthy parenting should be engaged. You know, your parents should be people that you can look to, people that you are inspired by, people that are a reflection of the healthiness and vitality and wellness of life, and you having access to those demonstrations and to those resources so that you can also grow up to carry the same things in principle in your own lives. But, you know, leadership has been fucked up because the people that have occupied that role have sometimes been really toxic. And so, you know, we just need to be really in a place where we are discerning proper leadership and we are engaging leadership in the way that it's meant to be engaged when we find that proper leadership.
those that come with it.
For those of y'all don't know, that's the flying preacher's son. Who came down off of the balcony off that cord.
Indeed.
Yes.
And his son is a mastermind of a musician, and he's who I'm working with. I did a set at Sirius XM recently in New York, and he MD'd that, and it was most amazing. And it made me want to bring him on. He's going to MD the Live at Blue Note in New York City. He and among some other geniuses that'll join me. But he and Troy Chambers out of Philadelphia. I'm doing the City Winery as well, Easter weekend in Philadelphia. And Troy's going to MD that.
Nice.
And I took Bart with me to Paris recently, the last 6 months. And I do this now because I have done enough to know that people know that I exist with the help of the media, and even in the so-called wrong light. I realized in that level of exposure that God had to take me in those continents. I was on front page China and front page London, because I'm coming. It's only by their response, and a lot of people say,
okay, I think we're good on that. I mean, that's pretty much the end of it, child. Any conclusory statements to did the interview give whatever you thought it was going to give? Are you surprised by the interview, or is it the same old, same old? What are your thoughts on
it? Unfortunately, gave me what I knew that it was going to give. I had some sort of hope. I had some sort of hope because, again, I want Kim Burrell to be honest and transparent. And low key, she has. Just to your point, she's unconscious of the information that she actually revealed. Again, if anything, I think it just garners more. I'm trying to find the right way to say this. That interview literally opened up a can of worms that I know that for me personally, I'm definitely going to continue to go down in reference to white supremacy and the expressions of that supremacy through queerphobia in the Black community in the church. And again, them defending basically their faith, but not in the way of, again, I'm going to believe what I'm going to believe, but I'm still going to love you and cherish you and create a safe space for you here and now. But I'm going to stand firm on what I believe and then try to find a way to justify that. And to your point, if you're going to do that, just be open and honest. Don't give us the theatrics. Just tell the truth. That's all we really want. And no shade. You ain't even got to tell us because we can really see it. But shout out to Kim Burrell for being honest and transparent in her own way. Shout out for Jamal Bryant having the safe conversation as opposed to the real conversation. Again, showing how afraid the church really is to have those real redemptive conversations. And also what I would like to admit, or I guess share, shall I say, is that the book that I'm reading, again, it is entitled Blame It on the Dress, The Manufacturing of Black Homophobia and Performative Masculinity by J. Charles. I am in the works of creating like a theatrical, I guess, breakdown of the chapters because I just love what y'all do over here on Consciouztv, and I feel like y'all would be an amazing platform to have this conversation with. So there are some things in the works that we're kind of doing right now that I'm excited for, but I guess this kind of gives a preview of what's to come. And I want people to share their opinions and perspectives. I don't know everything. I'm not right all the time or whatever. I've been trained by the best, so I'm right a lot of the time, but not all the time. So, so in those moments where I'm not right, I want to learn to become better. And yes, learning is going to be painful. It's going to be jarring. A lot of insecurities are going to come up. Some residue is going to come up. But again, if you want to live your best life, you got to go through all of it. And I want Kim Burrell to manifest the Grammys. I want her to live her best life. But you got to also play the supporting character in other people's lives. And I think there is some paramount mothering that she could do if she was only more inclusive to the queer community, because the queer community loves her. If you look at it right now, a lot of queer people know who Kim Burrell is and put respect on her name. And again, I am still one of the ones who put somewhat of respect on her name because of her gift. But as far as her character and personality, I think we can have more conversations about that. So if she's open to conversations and being better, I'm down to further explore that. But we're going to see what she gives. But what are your thoughts? How do you feel based on the Shit.
I mean, and following up on what you just said, my feedback. Well, I'm disappointed in Jamal for one. He didn't stand on business. He fell back into the sunken place, which means that all that shit that he said in that first clip that we played was just, I mean, it might have been sincere in the moment, but he definitely, he went from straight hair to defaulting back to curly hair, and lost his continuity. And he needs to do better. Kim did the same thing, and I think that Kim need to get in therapy, because one of the reasons why she's felt at mothering the culture is because she hasn't been properly mothered herself. And she's going to have to do what a lot of indoctrinated people will have to do, which is to actually address the indoctrination and to take a true inventory of the damage that the ideals and the systems that they've been faithful to have done to their lives. And they're going to have an honest reckoning about what all of this shit has costed them. And until they can really be honest about their own afflictions and the pain that this has brought to them, and be honest about their own disappointments in Christianity or in Islam or in whatever the faith is, until they can be truly honest and authentically present and hold and look at these systems without a rose-colored lens on, they're never going to be able to really correct course. They're never going to be. But all religious indoctrinated folk are going to have to really decolonize their minds, and I will have no hope for these people until that step is taken, until they actually can address and accept that they have been taught wrongly and take account for that first and foremost, because this system tore these people up. In this interview, unbeknownst to Kim Burrell, was simply a Dear John letter to the church. It was a Dear John letter to religion. And when she finally directs accountability to the proper places, she will then stop misfiring on the culture. She'll stop with all this misguided anger toward everybody else, instead of toward the white man in the clouds that these folk assigned to her as a leader. So revelatory in terms of a observer. Same old shit. I expected the foolishness. I got the foolishness. And yeah, that's it. And that's all. And like Buffs also said, we're going to be bringing some conversations to y'all. He's going to be putting on and hosting one hell of a series that's going to play out on this platform and his own, which is linked in the description box below. We're excited to bring to you guys a Bubs to God production. And you guys who are going to be coming in the replay, tell us what you heard here. Tell us, what your own experiences have been, what you've done, what a religion has done for you, good and bad, and how you've had to deal and resolve the bad or your journey out of religion. Give us all of that. And yeah. Anything else, Buzz, before we get up out of her?
No, I appreciate the opportunity to have the conversation. Shout out to the Conscious crew for rocking with us to 6 in the morning. Okay, on this good Sunday morning. I appreciate y'all. I look forward to um just engaging with the platform more and just
Yes.
growing and becoming a better person my damn self. Because trust me, I have my own damn upgrade that's gonna be happening in my own life. So as much as I'm talking about going through fear and shit like that, or dealing with fear, trust me, I'm not just talking out the side of my neck. I'm gonna be going through experience. But again, when you go through that experience and learn from it, it is so transformative. And I gotta continue to give roses to CTV. Y'all don't understand how implementive this man has been in my fucking life. I'm telling you, this nigga is the motherfucking truth. Okay, he brings a level of awareness that makes you gotta challenge your damn self, girl. You know what I'm saying? But it's to make you better, and not only
Tried by
because he
fire.
does that. It's yeah, definitely the fire, girl. Through the fire, no Shaka Khan, but it's for the betterment of not just yourself but humanity, you know. And that fire is literally meant to just burn away the things that are not you, the things that you have subconsciously participated in through fear, through indoctrination, through patriarchy. You have the opportunity at any moment in your life to change your life and to do better. And you know, that takes a level of courage. And we live in a time now where we talk a lot of shit, but we don't know how to walk it out. And the universe says, well, it's time for y'all to walk it out. So we're going to see who's really walking in love and who's not. And, you know, really no judgment in that mode, but love is really all that there is, honestly, if you ask me. So, yes, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited. And again, thank y'all so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and we happy to have you. We are looking forward to everything that you're going to be doing in this season as a person and as a creator. And you know, we're going to be supporting you in every which way. So once again, you guys do not forsake that description box. Bubs to God, his Instagram and his YouTube is there. Please support him. Let's get Bubs. And let me actually put your the link to your and on Cash App $ Bubs the God. Let me remove my banner and don't forget to Cash App me too, child, and bless the King.
Oh yes, bless the King first above all things. If you got a little extra, I'll take it. It's okay. Get a cane here. When you what do you say? When you are in Rome, render what to Caesar's what is Caesar's and what's to God God.
Okay, you better talk it, honey. You better preach, preacher.
That's fine.
Oh, period. And I'm gonna dump Bubs because Bubs, y'all, is what, like basically 134, 33 subscribers away from 1K, y'all. We need to get Bubs monetized. He be putting them up fucking work, child. All of y'all, all of my graveyard working ass bitches, baby, y'all would love the Bubs to God platform, girl, because he gonna be live for a whole work shift, girl. Okay, so if y'all need if y'all need that long forum content, baby, okay, click the motherfucking link and let's get him to 1K. I'm gonna bring Bubs back when I have a daytime show and all of the Conscious crew is up in here, so we can really drive that traffic. But for those of you coming in, please check him out. He is hilarious. He's creative. And he has a lot of personal skills. If you guys need help setting up any of your social media platforms, if you guys need any type of editing work, if you guys need voiceovers, if you need intros, if you need songwriting, honey, hell, you know, he gonna be on OF soon. If you need dick, baby, Bubs got you. Okay, so please run up over there to the Bubs to God Kingdom. Once again, all information in the description. And y'all, thank y'all for being her child. This was amazing. And we will see y'all later. Okay.
Peace.